It dropped a little bit, yeah.
In Starship.
I think a lot of that is commercially based, though. You have the customers that need to go, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less.
But to add to your point, though, even though the money is dispersed, we've seen where the majority of that can potentially come from and can help fuel the Starship side of things. So if you have that additional revenue stream, like the monster that EWS can be, then by all means, right? Like we've seen the numbers. And you know what's funny? There's one more thing that I wanted to bring up, Sharif. You brought up there's like SpaceX has like $41 billion or something in backlog in regards to cloud. If you can pull that up quick. As I was reading through the report, I kind of laughed because if you go back to Alphabet's
14.1,
14.1 billion in backlog.
Well, that's because they only have two customers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's 5% of Google's backlog.
Sure.
So it's not even comparable whatsoever. Google with like $514 billion in backlog, and that's why I'm going to remain bullish for the next previous.
How much of that is their own?
Yeah, like but
Gemini, that they can't.
Can you classify that as backlog though? Because you're not generating.
I can find out in a minute, but
yeah, I guess that is a good question. How much is that of Gemini? Well, I think that's important to know. But
absolutely. All right, man. 201. Let's send it over this way. See you tomorrow, guys.
Yes, sir. Welcome back, everybody. And the thumbnail for the afternoon show.
Yeah.
It's not about AMD and it's not about SpaceX.
No, it's not.
Something happened in the middle of the day on Alphabet.
Yeah, we were watching it. We were talking about it. We were talking about it in the chat there, and good buying opportunity. If you come over to my screen here, you'll see Google just layered into it, man. Just small all the way and straight to the back end of this trade. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. This is going to be my second best trade of the day. This is the crown jewel. We talked about. It's one thing to talk about SpaceX like we've been doing all day, and I think that's obviously important. It's been a major stock and a major talk of every single person around here. But to get in there and trade it, it wasn't that risky, and that's the whole point. Is this stop out of mine was 118, so it's 50 cents worth of a stop. And right now, now that you're back into tens, I think I should probably take a bid. I didn't have any bids out because I was kind of waiting for this to happen. So I'll put a bid there and take a little piece out right now on SpaceX, as both of these positions are $7 in right now. So hopefully it can continue to work out. But we are also seeing some updates out of Orogenics, which is ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. This company has now activated its Phase 2A clinical trial in Australia, with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Orogenics has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising said capital and resolving liabilities, also restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. Go check them out. It's ticker OGEN. We want to thank them for their continued sponsorship. But yeah, like we've just been putting up on, go give a follow over there to X. We've been putting, as soon as we got into SpaceX, and again, we're not on air when this happened, but we went and put it in the chat. We put it up there on X. And there it goes, man, straight to the downside. And it was really fun, as Neil mentioned there, trading some Google in the middle of the day there. So this has been a good one. Ooh, right back up to these highs again. I'm waiting at 364.50 right into this area to see if we can get see if we can get a little piece out right now. Ooh, now they're both $7.25, but we're still going right now. Neil's got a whole bunch of names as well. ATK.
I wasn't in Google before. Well, I wasn't, but not anymore. But one thing on Alphabet, very quickly. There was two pieces of news on Alphabet. The first one was, I don't even know,
somebody left.
It was like somebody leaving, and then the second was a little bit longer tenured, and that was the secondary drop, because it actually had two moves on Alphabet. And the first one, in a second there, you can clarify, but it's not about who left. It's about the two drops. Like the first one bounced at about 364, and then got into this 65 level. And that's the first time I tried it, because like the first bid I see, I'm gonna punch long, and then didn't work. And then the second hit dropped this another like $8 back in, and then it came back through 360. So there's a secondary play here if it gets through the first, we'll call it like hump here. And that first hump, right? Like it was two distinct moves to the downside on Alpha. That's why I had two distinct trades myself. But just quickly, yeah, the other thing is just like that's just a range trend break on a deal that just moved to a new price. So you always talk about things like support and resistance. Everything is fractal in this world. Once something sets a price level, there's the prior high. It broke it out. There's the wick top. It literally bounced off it. So I risked a cent to make 4, and then that's pretty much it. And I will sit in it. It was similar to sometimes what will be in like WBD, like we were talking about that today. Like WBD did a trend break like yesterday, came into VWAP, but then I had my break-even stop. So like one that works, one that doesn't kind of deal. But this Alphabet, you got to keep in mind, we've been seeing so many of these stories. There's lots of different news-based catalysts, but in particular, it feels like the "this person is leaving" story is not one that fails to have a dip. Just anecdotally, and I'm not gonna. We're just talking anecdotally here. Like I can't think of a time where you had follow through because so and so is leaving. If it's the CEO, fair enough. But in this particular case, sometimes it's more of an opportunity. But there was two very distinct moves on Alphabet there, and you could see the bottom tails on that 3-minute.
Yeah, if they tie it up with SpaceX here. Just telling our one friend about Tesla, and he wants to buy more of it. And I said, yeah, it's not a bad idea if it does tie up with SpaceX. We did hear that today again from Kevin O'Leary, but we'll have to wait to see if Tesla's a buy at these levels or not. I mean, down to $300 there, not well received, obviously, and on their report, and straight down, but did find a bid that goes back to last year at this time. So it's not like it's unbelievable, the move that happened. It just gave up all the profits all year. We always talk about that, right? It's like, this is why I feel like sitting in an index is a very smart idea, because it generally will trend, and you're at all-time highs today for both the NASDAQ, well, close enough anyways, not today for the NASDAQ, but for the ES and the Dow. Meanwhile, if you've just been sitting in Tesla, unless you're smart enough to rotate in and out of this name, you've been a dog for a long time on Tesla, right? I mean, this name is actually, if you just sat in it, and if you sat in it from the time it, IPO, then fantastic. But, this goes all the way back to November of 24. So basically 2 years right into this area for Tesla. So not doing a whole heck of a lot there. So we'll have to wait to see if it has any juice to it to get back upside here from these spots. But I think it's a decent level to maybe look at some Tesla. This Google is really like, man, we definitely got that. Yeah, there's OpenAI and Microsoft news with Adara.
MSFT dropping here, though, already recovering, trading back at the prior day low. Basically, reports are showing that Microsoft's AI sales mostly come from OpenAI, according to disclosures. So that's Bloomberg reporting that. Based on some disclosures, most of Microsoft's AI sales come from OpenAI. Apparently, OpenAI revenue reached $24.1 billion in FY 2026 for Microsoft. Now, in case you're thinking FY 2026 isn't done yet, Microsoft is a couple quarters ahead of the market. So when everyone else is reporting Q2, they just reported last week that Q4 and FY 2026 data. Back to you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the algo's got a hold of that one, and it's right back to where it was before. Yeah, the futures they're looking like they're trying to break out a little bit here. It's been a long consolidation on a higher level. This is a NASDAQ. I know the SPY is, when we talk about the market, yeah, the SPY. But a long consolidation, and this is pretty much where we settled at 4:30 after all the earnings yesterday. So it is a bit of a level in there. Silver's at VWAP, so we're in this one off the volume weighted average price. There's it breaking VWAP. There's the stop. Just looking for it to play in the high. The last time pulled into VWAP, we took a breakout. It tried to go, didn't take it a second time because it was just way too weak going into it. But IBIT here, we got back into IBIT on the way back upside, but it's now starting to curl. I got to use a 15. Just to give you an idea what IBIT's been able to do with the market looking weak, it's still holding upward trend, but it's having some trouble through the top. Like the top end of the move isn't really going, so I don't want to give this all the way back. I want to find another spot to join that trend because the market goes, this has been strong all day long, relatively speaking. I haven't been able to say that very long. But today it's definitely true. For whatever reason, it doesn't really matter why. No specific story when it comes to Bitcoin, but it is trending up relative to the market. We're going to go to the desk with Adara, because he is not here.
We've talked a lot about SpaceX today, mostly in earnings, but there's another really interesting SpaceX story that transpired. We're talking about it a lot online, I guess, yesterday evening, and then concluding this morning. So on January 15th, 2025, more than a year and a half ago, this SpaceX rocket took off. Now, according to scientists, they have confirmed that this rocket actually hit the moon, slammed into the moon rather, very early this morning. That is a wayward 8,800-pound SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket booster, apparently roughly 45 feet long, 12 feet wide, crashing into the moon with nearly 3 tons of TNT of force at 5,400 miles per hour. This crater could be as large as 100 feet wide and 16 feet deep. So I know a story that we haven't discussed a lot, but kind of an interesting look here just to reflect. In addition to earnings, SpaceX also literally went to the moon and apparently collided with the moon, according to scientists. So interesting look for SPCX this afternoon.
Now someone's going to say, it's not real, it didn't actually go there. They could look at the crater and be like, oh, no, it's fake. The world is flat, it didn't go. Yeah. I'd love to, that sounds pretty cool. Like, I would love to have seen. The problem with it is like all the really cool stuff, you don't get to see the video image, like a clean, clear video image. The landings are fantastic, but obviously crashing into the moon the Russian way. You do it first. And that's the thing. Like, it's a big success. Like the Russians, when they were first,
I just can't wait till we finally land on the moon.
Well, eventually we'll get there. We'll get there.
It finally happens.
Yeah. It's hard to do it's hard to launch something successfully off of flat Earth. That's the problem.
Yeah. They're gonna get that figured out once.
Logistical challenges.
They'll have that. Walmart breaking the lows of the day here as well. The market's not doing a whole heck of a lot, but I just was on the scanner there for my Walmart, and there it is. Right here, trying to get below this little shelf there. I mean, the low exactly would be 111.40 right there. So we're going to try to figure out what that is up to. We haven't looked at SK Hynix in a minute, SKHY. Let's have a quick look to see what that's doing. Today the NASDAQ flat, ES flat. I mean, NASDAQ down 0.29, ES down or up 0.08. SK Hynix, yeah, just interesting here when you look at the daily chart. I mean, just having a little problem getting through this 155 area, that could be a good, bid long through there if it does continue to, hang around this area. It looks, these almost look like monthly candles here, but of course, just daily. Gap fill, into the lows, 115. Wow, I don't know what happened there. We obviously heard about that hedge fund sell-off there, right? And so as that comes in, that made a good bottom of 118. I really feel like these are the levels between 140 to 155. So a breakout out of that zone, I think, gets us cooking a little bit there on SK Hynix. I want to zoom this back out there. Too many. It looks like a barcode down there. AMD, what I also want to talk about was, wow, got me nervous there at the middle of the day there, Intel, when you came right back into the lows. And again, this is where we bought some shares this morning, right off the open. I was able to get into Intel. It does come right back in and probably give you the opportunity to buy shares even at a better price. But there it goes, upside into 102.50. I hope this is the low as Intel gets for a little while. Put a little bit more money to work over there. I was thinking about also buying some Qualcomm, but 158 and change, not really there yet. I believe in Intel a little more than Qualcomm right there. But yeah, we're just, small shares left on Google. Depends on what everybody considers small different, but we'll wait to see what happens. We just got a good grade out. Like this was big because it was right into here. So it was right into these highs. So that's where that offer came through. I do have, maybe if we break 360, then we can get out, of the rest of them. But I still want to try to hold on to a little bit there. And then SpaceX, I mean, we had written down 110, at the beginning of the day that we really liked that long. We actually touted the fact that we didn't do anything about it the last time it was here. There at 110. And now we're getting that opportunity to do something about it as we're getting closer and closer into those lows right now of 110. So it's good that we're short 118, 117.50. But, a lot of that cash out happened pretty early. Then a lot also right into here as we're at 114 to 115. Because remember, Neil was saying it earlier, like, this is 50 cents worth of an out. So when it's in the money now, $3 or something like that, and it's only 50 cents, that's where we start to get it out, especially when we see some backside support right there. So yeah, man, SpaceX again, if it's a day that ends in Y, I'll be on SpaceX. So there it goes, nice downside play there. And now we just wait, thinking about dumping and getting long, but I want to sort of see something, and I don't really know what that's going to be. So we'll just continue to watch out for SpaceX and then talk to you guys about whatever you want. I mean, XYT.
It's
there's another one.
1969 is the tap.
Yeah, and that's going to be a good one. I don't know when it's going to open. I'm assuming soon. It's supposed to be in 1 minute. 2 minutes. Yeah, 1 or 2 minutes. So 1824 past close. Now 1970. So should be an interesting open there
Only
for YXT.com. Should be good.
Cool.
And then Bitcoin's up to 65,000 again.
You know what I just noticed?
Oh, Palantir, I have a story about
ETH
that.
is, forget about, for a split second, when I flip stocks, it still had the 600% on XYT. And I was like, what the heck? No, it's 2.5% for ETH.
Yeah, that's a big
if ETH goes up 600%, the entire economic system has broken apart, obviously. But yeah, it is stronger than IBIT. So rightfully so, whomever pointed it out. Like early on, there was a good reversal in IBIT, and like it's trying to go, it's still upward trending. Probably BM&R might be BM&R looks really good too. ETH is doing better than even BM&R. So even, that's interesting because I'm not used to seeing ETH lead the way, and this gets really interesting. Obviously, this is ETFs. I'm not talking about spot prices. What are we sitting at right now? I gotta refresh this. We're still under 20,000. 19.2 is where we're sitting on ETH. So like, there's a big potential breakout. I guess that'll be the 2,000 mark. I might have just said 20, but I mean 2,000. But look at this sideways accumulation, let's call it. Consolidation, fine, but accumulation as well that's going on in ETH. This does look spicy. Like you get a nice break today. Obviously, in hindsight, that's better than. Like look at the technical break on that versus like IBIT was kind of it was more like just play the reversal and weasel your way in. ETH, nope, completely different story. You could have just had this on a clean breakout of the highs a little bit later on. It still does the same test of the lows. Yeah, but this should be a watch. If I get out of IBIT, or if we just even get a good dip, maybe join the trend here. Super strong in Ethereum. I have no idea. Why? Who knows? It doesn't really matter. As long as it's moving, you want to give it a chance. Our friend YXT.com. Oh, the tap's higher now. That's all.
Oh, wow.
$20 it's now indicating. The high is just underneath 21 bucks, so it looks like it's going to open up just shy of the high break on YXT. Remember, they're around for a good time, not necessarily a long time. The daily chart's what I wanted to show. That is a daily chart.
Yeah, YXT.
I chuckle.
Yeah, no, that's a big one.
Next week, this stock will be at, where did it start? $4. Volume started at 3.
Sorry, $3
Let's call it
today.
$3.43 this time next week probably, or maybe $4, something along those lines. They tend to only be like very short-lived, especially the Chinese ones lately, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I just saw. Yeah, Sharif was trading that on the midday, so it was a good one there. Yeah, I don't. It should be. It's going to be a 10-minute halt right now. It's not open. So it last halted at 2:12:05. So that's a little looker right there. Yeah, AnyNet there today, or sorry, Arista Networks. Yeah, good look. Up today, 6.5%. Off earnings, right? I mean, a nice shoot up there yesterday, 224, 225. Breaking out. So Arista Networks now trying to break out. That was a great report. We always love when some of these high-end names take out levels, right? Especially ones that they've been bouncing off of a little bit there. That's a split. So, but anyways, right into there. Nice move for 190. I believe that's a split. I don't think that there was too many problems with that stock. But let me see here on eSignal, the low there. No, I don't. Well, I mean, this looks much different on our chart than this. So I don't know what was going on there. This move is from 160 down to 120. We have, oh, there it is, 4-1 right there. The split happens back in 24. So yeah, so that's what I thought. So okay, so that's all good. So if we look at this chart, I just want to double check. Our charts don't have split adjusted pricing. So There's the move down, so all good. So if we get rid of that, because that's a nothing. But right there, we're taking out those levels. So 190, nice upside move there for Arista Networks. And, we've been talking about, SpaceX and what's going on with that. Arista today up 7 and looking like it wants to hold. The only thing is it's been coming back in. Good level there, 190. See, so when you see these levels, like that would be the spot. Obviously you're not going to be in at, you might be in at 190 if you saw it double touch, right? So that would be a great long there, $13 in the money. We would have liked to have been in that one. But yeah, just didn't look over here. Good level. And look what it comes back into, right to where we were pre-earnings. Comes right back into that 192, shoots the moon, right back in, hits the moon again off the open, boom, up about $4 or so, opens at 208. It's 214, maybe even higher, 215. So up $6, $7, and then dropping dramatically back down to 192 and change there before catching a bid up to now 204. So yeah, an interesting level down there for Arista Networks. Could have been looked at for sure.
There's a lot to cover.
There's just so many names.
We didn't even talk about
I saw someone in the chat mention that. So shout out to you guys in the chat. Keep them going in the chat. We'll look for some.
We barely mentioned Uber today, although, probably with good reason. I think everyone's probably frustrated enough with that stock. Unless you're riding the short in Uber, forget about it. Like it's so disappointing. And it dropped, it fell further, it tried to bounce, it died, it's still dying. 6.5% down. The good news is it didn't actually make that flat bottom break, so it hasn't done it yet. That'll be $65. It's not really a flat bottom break. It's like loose support between 65 and $70. It's bounced at a different spot every single time, but it's somewhere between 65 and 70. It's at 67. 165 goes. I don't know what's going to get this one. I don't know what gets them going. That's the reality, because the story was all about autonomous, and now it's like you want them to have exclusivity as the platform. And Waymo will be a good deal for them, but what are you going to do? Like, Waymo's far ahead, and Waymo doesn't necessarily need them, and that's a bit of a problem, I think. Full-blooded Texan. Long story short, Uber sucks. If you guys were heavy in cash, where would you park it when the market is all-time highs? Anything other than money markets, etc., paying 3 to 4%. If you want a time frame, you're holding it for a year. You want to hold it because if you're not in money market, if you want it to be liquid so that you can put it in something else, and you don't want it to lose money, like you just want something that's going to be flat, that's going to give you a divvy. That's an interesting one, because there's sectors that I like that I think are decent dip value buys. Like I like a lot of the what are the good healthcare stocks you're doing, I almost said AstraZeneca, but AbbVie's a stock that I feel like it's in the midst of a value pullback right now in a nice upward trend that I feel pretty solid about there. And that's at 240, but it's not without risk. Like, everything's going to have risk. I mean, the first thing that came to mind is what is at a technical level that I already observed that's a buy, but I'm already in it? It's prior high, double bottom in the prior high. It's got to 50. But I like that for a tight stop play there. I have to think on that, because to me, I'm more I put it into cash and yield, and then I can deploy the money when I want to. That's the way I look at it if I'm just parking somewhere. Just very quickly, 22.
Here comes 110 is going to break. There's a lot of size on 110 right now on SpaceX.
See it? 5.
Yeah, so it's about 3 or 4 million. That's just showing. It's hard to see now. Darn it. We were just there. You'll see when it comes back here. If I keep it down low, you should. Anyways, once we see a more level 2, someone just needs to wipe this down a little bit. There, you'll be able to see. But anyways, yeah, it's still 110 flat break right now. We're still short at 118 up top here on SpaceX, and was thinking about even shorting. Here it comes. There it is. There. 36.99.
Oh, that's half a mil.
Yeah, half a mil. Well, it just got hit right there pretty easily. So the Nasdaq's going to get taken out right now. You are SSR, so anybody hitting the bid right now to take this out has to already own shares. So you're going to have somebody that's sitting in shares that says, nah, I want to get out, and dump them onto here. So looks like that is happening, and see you later, alligator, as it's gone through 110. Last time it did this, we did see this. We were watching it live with us. I mean, it just seems like It seems like deja vu. We were watching that exact level breakdown here, and then I was even saying, oh, they're following it down, they're following it down. And then when they were done with that, they got rid of it. So right now it's eight bucks now in on these shorts. And yeah, just a good overall look here for SpaceX today on the short side of things. It was a great long early. Now the shorts have come. Remember, wow. All right, man, this has been a, what's up? I know Zane's not in the chat right there, but there it goes. And, give a follow, because, we had, not only did we talk about SpaceX pretty much all day, but if you're going to look here, I don't know what the first time, it's right into here. So I actually sent this trade. We were still at 116.50 here on SpaceX when I sent this through over 2 hours ago when we started the short on SpaceX. And then it just started. There's our oh yeah, I want to talk about Palantir as well. There's the SpaceX, and we update ourselves there when it's at 114, and now it's at 111. We give a little bit of an update. We haven't done anything since, so I'll put this in the chat, guys. Go give a follow. We all have our accounts. You can go have a look. I'm posting up there all the trade ideas that I have every single day. Also posting, if you don't have SpaceX, if you don't have that, go over to Instagram right now and give a follow here, as my lovely wife has been putting up these stocks. Ooh, 21 likes with 2 comments. That's good. 20 from yesterday, 16 there. Changing the way. It used to be like this on a carousel. Now it's like this. So you go in there. It's very easy to share and look at. Just a short. Come on, man. Lucid. That's too bad. But anyways, Palantir, then here's all the talking about it right there. But go give that a follow as well. And let's see if we can get those, followers up a little bit and, spike these algorithms. But yeah, lots of fun times happening right here, right now. So, enjoy the show. And there goes SpaceX down to 109.70. It is a stock that has provided a lot of into the pockets of traders. So yeah, SpaceX been a good one here. And we'll see what winds up happening now at 109. I mean, the all-time low is what, 106?
I think it broke 6s. I mean, we looked yesterday or 2 days ago. I thought it was like 5, 6.
Yeah, it's 104.83.
Well, someone's 104.83. I felt like our chart's probably wrong. I thought when I looked on the P-Pro A chart, I thought I saw like 105. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
the even dollar at 105 is going to be a big deal. Okay, bad news for the XYT people. Sorry.
XYZ?
XYT.
Oh, YXT.
YXT. You know what? That's because Block reports tonight. That's my bad. You always think about the names that you actually know or give a darn about first. So like in my brain, I see 3 tickers. It's like, it's the end of the alphabet. It's Block. No, it's It's YXT. It's halted downside after opening higher. So actually, it did open at 20 bucks or just above that, flashed to 23, and then immediately halted down, like almost instantly rejected the breakout of the high. This is what it did the last downward halt. Like it did a couple of nasty ones in a row and then caught a bid. This is a different situation. So it's halted down, the tap is up. So it's indicating an open at like $19.50 right now, which is unique. I don't think I've really seen it a couple times where you get a crazy topping tail, but now it's saying flat. Now it's just opened back up. So sometimes that indicated open doesn't really matter. Looks like it is heading lower. Maybe that 1943 is telling us something if it can close above that. But that's just initial orders before it opens. A lot of people will wait until the last second to decide. They know it's 5 minutes long, so you don't have to put orders in until like the final minute, and that's what they end up doing. So this one might be on the back end. It did a halt twice in a row, then caught a bit of a bid there. Not really going to be paying. Again, people are watching it, so that's fine. Like we'll be discussing it. Silver got off VWAP, took half out. Now we're going to wait for the HOD. That continues to look relatively strong. Still ETH more so than IBIT, but that's coming a little bit back. I don't know if I want to reload that. I feel like on a dip buy, it's better to get involved in ETH because it's stronger than try to dip buy Bitcoin. Nvidia just broke. No, it did not. Someone in the chat said Nvidia broke the high of the day. It broke the high of the afternoon. The high of the day is actually $222.22. And that is one of my favorite. 22 is one of my favorite numbers. Maybe my second favorite number. I like that price. That was the exact price that I bought Tesla not recently, but the last time I bought Tesla shares was at $222.22. If only we got out of everything at the top, but you never do.
Nope, you never ever do. And yeah, that's always the problem, right?
That's just how it goes.
So, all right, we'll just continue to keep going there. I think it might be time again, to buy a little bit more Tesla. Now, maybe, we'll see. I'm trying to get a little less. You know, one thing that was Oracle was another name here that, and again, like live on the show, right? We sold Oracle up in the 300s. It was crazy there, and I've always thanked Adara for that play. But you could see right into here, you know, good level. I think, anyways, now in and around this 134, 135. You know, you get some of that garbage out of here, right down here between 115 to 130. And you know, a lot of that, again, was the selling off there of the hedge fund. And now we'll have to wait to see if it does start to bounce back up. The whole market really got some pretty nasty sort of headwinds, I guess a tailwind with the pushing down to the downside there. Now you're starting to get back upside now on Oracle. So this could be another one of those names where it's just beat up so far that maybe it's just so good. I mean, we were just at 250 all the way down there to 115. Just as it went one way, it came right back in and even harder. So I think this is a good buy, actually. I mean, even right now, but whatever. The best spot would be around this 135 marker, I feel like. But I'm not that price sensitive. Like I just buy it and hold it in the account. So we'll see what winds up happening with Oracle. I have not yet stepped in, but normally it's on your level 2 window. You know what you're looking at stocks and everything like that. Then you're thinking, well, it's from the window to the wall. And we have a segment now with Adara.
We're here to talk about Uber, guys. UBER in today's segment of To the Window, to the Wall, where we pull up a chart window, we look at it at the wall. I apologize, the white font, kind of hard to read on here, but I'll talk you guys through all of it. So this one is about beep, beep, Uber. Why am I talking about Uber today? Because as I've said, during earnings season, I mostly just make earnings-related infographics. So if you have any that you ever want to see into the window, into the wall for specific days, please just let me know in the chat. But either way, we're here. We got in the Uber, and we're now going to talk about UBER. So I wanted to look here at gross bookings and revenue by segment because, interestingly enough, they have the same segments for both of these categories. And then I also wanted to look at year-over-year growth because there's going to be something really interesting that you'll notice in revenue, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's start with gross bookings. It's actually considered one of the largest or most important metrics, rather, for UBER, like it is for, I mean, we know with Roblox, we're looking at bookings as well. For a lot of these companies that have services that they provide, sometimes bookings are more important than what you're getting with revenue. So for gross bookings, you've got mobility, the vast majority here, that's just under 50%, $28.98 billion, so just under $29 billion. You got $27.5 billion for delivery, and then roughly $1.5 billion for freight. Now, year-over-year growth, really strong. The largest year-over-year growth here is in delivery. That's a trend you'll see in revenue as well, up 26% year-over-year, but you still have strong freight growth. These mobility growth, though, which is, to my understanding, when you actually order an Uber and get in the Uber and then get out of the Uber, et cetera, that is growing the slowest, but it's still, you know, double-digit, more than 20% growth. Now, when you get to revenue, things get kind of dicey here. So UBER, as we know, they actually missed on revenue here and only inline EPS. So this was just in general not a great report. But I found something really interesting things here when it comes to Uber's revenue. So you've got mobility here. Again, largest portion of the revenue, little over 50%, $7.36 billion. But it only grew by 1% year over year, which makes me wonder, are we seeing companies like Lyft stepping in and providing some real competition for Uber in this category? That is something I think to flag. Because then you still have strong growth in delivery and freight. You're actually growing better in both of these segments than the growth we saw in gross bookings. So that to me is significant. Either way here, that's today's segment of To the Window, to the Wall. Expect more SpaceX, CapEx stuff. I know we talked about that during the midday, but I'm going to give you guys that infographic here a little bit closer to the end of the week. Because again, we've got to spread out the SpaceX love and excitement. We can't give it to you all in one day. In the meantime, we're going to give you back over to Sean and Neil for more trading excitement.
Lots of
Lyft
excitement.
is better.
Lots of excitement.
Like but I'm using air quotes because it's actually off of the lows. Like it's not doing anything particularly special, except for the fact that it's in a gentle uptrend. So yeah, I would venture to say it's doing pretty well. They got good like partnerships, right? Like they got the Amazon Prime thing going on, and you know, like the argument for Uber was supposed to be that they got more going on, that they got the freight, but sometimes having a laser focus can end up being a good thing, like just not being a little bit of everything. I don't know, it's kind of worked out pretty well for, if you make the Coke-Pepsi comparison, like Pepsi's a little more stretched than Coke is. But yeah, Lyft looks pretty solid. whatever. Like I haven't even gotten out of all the old Uber shares, which they're just a disappointment. Like they're still in the money, but it's like it doesn't really make a difference because it hasn't been doing anything. Lyft probably has a good short float too, which will help it get to the upside and press higher. That's a good looking short, back over the 200 period moving average and upward trending, which is surprising to me. The other thing that is surprising is this is one of the few days where, and by the way, like gold is also breaking out on the daily, but there's a but. See that candle? Look at that curl. Yeah, that tells me that even if VWAP, like I have the stop underneath VWAP, but I'm not even gonna give it that much more room. I feel like if I continue to see gold go down, then I might as well just punch out if I see another crazy spike. I have the stop under this prior low, but when you see GLD move like this, and it's moving better than what you're seeing SLV, they're both up 4 points, but look how much stronger gold has been. So there's been a nice flight to safety here today. And for one of the first times, crypto is somehow being included in that. Like the market's down, metals are up, and crypto's gone with it. That's a very positive sign if you're looking to be bullish on crypto.
Yeah, that's oh boy. Not too much bullish love today for SpaceX, and glad that we had changed up our first thoughts of 110 long. And there it goes right now into the zone of 109. We just ran into 109. The day's low incoming or is here now on SpaceX. So still trying to hold, man, and just waiting to see, you know, what kind of fun we can have here on SPCX. Right back into 109 right there. So it looks like I don't think it's gonna have any problem taking it out. It did just bounce off of it. And remember, there's gonna be a lot of dark pool love here and everything like that. Like, you know, I started my career trading penny stocks and watching out for the level 2s and watching gateways and everything like that. So, you know, definitely comfortable, you know, watching out for these kind of breakouts and breakdowns and watching these. It's going to go now. It has to right there. So there, yeah, okay, it's gone. So bye-bye. There it goes all the way to the downside there. So that's just even if you want to scalp that for a quick like 1,000 shares, make a quick 10 cents there, $100. That was an easy play. But now we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening here as we continue to move lower on SpaceX, man. 109. Can we put up $10 on this trade right here? Yesterday we had, you know, I don't know, $6 or $7 or maybe more than that in Palantir. Today we have it in Google, and we also have it in SpaceX. And, you know, it's too bad because Lucid today, oh man, that was the #1 trade idea. And we already talked about the follow over there on X, on Instagram and all that. We had Lucid as the #1 idea at $7. And man, we were short. We were short serious amounts. And we're still up on it. So it's all good. We covered, and it was a good job covering what, you know, when it tanked. Like we have an 80 fill there and yada, yada. I think this was probably 20% or so that was left right there. And we even got another fill there at 05 and brought that back down into the low 90s there. And then the reason why is we got a good majority out right there once it broke 10s. And then upside, and we just got overfilled because what we got out, we punched a little bit more, so we immediately got out of the long, and then it was just like, like in a matter of 10 minutes later, we were all the way to the downside there. So our day could be infinitely better if we didn't get out, but it's okay. Still a big day. And then here we go right here as well. Palantir actually just came right back into that level again. We could have maybe looked at it, but we were talking. But there it was right there. We were short. So we were long, short, you know, print, take it out on the 200 period break. So unfortunately, it does break our back a little bit there with PLTR. But yeah, a good bounce off 109 potentially for SpaceX. Let's see if it winds up holding it or not. Was that a call or?
I think so. Yeah.
Or Sia.
I think we're going to the desk
let's go
with
back over.
Sia. What's happening now?
I guess.
What's happening now is we're going to take a look at the market, then head into some of Disney's earnings that I want to share. So SPY currently up very, very significantly, very little, but it's still in the green. The triple Qs are down almost 0.5%. The Dow is up close to 1%, and the IWM down 0.40% on the day, 0.37% to be very, very precise. Let's take a look at DIS and its earnings and what it did. So earnings per share at $2.06 adjusted that have beat estimates. You've total revenue at $25.25 billion, which is a 7% increase year over year. Net income at $2.63 billion. Share repurchases targeting at least $9 billion in fiscal 2026. Their entertainment revenue also has risen 6% to $11.35 billion. And this is aided all by the box office success of Toy Story 5. Also, theme parks and cruises have delivered a solid growth here as well. Global attendance has been up 4%. Sports as well. Operating income, however, now for this sector has fallen 17% to $858 million due to rising costs for live media rights. Now let's take a look at the same time at what happened with ratings. Morgan Stanley analyst Sean Diffley has said that there's quote-unquote lots to like. Disney's fourth quarter operating income guidance has, however, fallen short of Morgan Stanley's estimate, but the company has nonetheless reiterated its full year guidance. Analyst has also written in a note today that quote-unquote underscores the durability and diversification across the business. Most importantly, the sale of its A+E stake to Hearst underscores that new CEO Josh D'Amaro is willing to take a fresh look at the portfolio and simplify and optimize with a clear move away from linear. He has also reiterated an overweight weighting and $123 price target, my apologies, on the stock. That implies a 25% upside from yesterday's close. So Wells Fargo at the same time and BAC have also reiterated their overweight and buy ratings respectively. Disney is currently trading around the 101 region and is up 3.3% on the day.
Thank you very much. See, I saw a few comments from TikTok. Red Eye Sky was saying like we're missing out on DraftKings reporting tomorrow is in a buy. And then the real Gary, we have a super chat we'll get to, and the real Gary was asking about Shopify. It's at VWAP. Do you like it? Shopify, there's no, you can't sugarcoat 19%. 19% up is fantastic. It gaps. The problem is if you didn't have the pre-market move or like that first dip, there's been some smaller opportunities. Like I liked 143, but the reason I'm not as juiced about it at VWAP is it bounced to 43, stopped at 48, then bounced again, stopped at 48, stopped at 48, and then it's getting like tighter, but smaller, obviously smaller range, but $2 range bound. That 48 needs to go, and then it's got a little bit of room to run to the upside. So yeah, I think I like the quarter on Shopify, but it's been a profit-taking kind of day. It was almost like the breakout went too far for Shop. Guidance big. The guidance was pretty huge. I mean, they're talking 30% growth, which destroyed the street. Low 30s, I guess, percent growth, which was much better than what was being anticipated. And, you know, if you beat big, great. If you beat small, people have been getting punished, but it plays both ways. Huge breakout day on Shop. The problem was a lot of it was just accomplished with the gap up in a matter of seconds. And then after that, you're left for the scraps of trying to get a couple bucks here or there on a stock which had moved 25. I'm not on the right page for the super chat, but Nick is asking about Cliff. Now, there's a name we have not heard in a very long time. Everyone's not favorite. I doubt it. But Nick, you usually like things that are breaking away from a consolidation or breaking out highs. It looks to me this is all about the major moving averages. Like, it's not terribly exciting because I think when you have something here, if you're looking technically, which is what we always look at, it's okay, there's your long area. You've got to stop maybe under 11, let's just say, and then there's room to $15. But that's a pretty big triple top at 15. So you kind of know where you're headed. From that standpoint, that looks pretty good. I think it gets more exciting when you start breaking out above that 15, because then you're in some uncharted territory. Like, you like to get to places where you can start filling in the gaps, but there's nothing, like, it's not bad. It's above, like I said, above both major moving averages. You're making higher lows. That's fine for sure. And then Roland Espinosa is asking about DVLT on a rebound. Why? By the way, YXT's halted again. Tap is $23, which is above the high of the day. So that one's actually going this afternoon. DVLT, I feel like we got a question about this, and oh no, that DVLT. I'm thinking of a different one. This is a penny stock. DVLT. There's the other one that was a runner that was very similar.
Maybe a data vault or something. What is DVLT?
No, DVLT. Ugh, yeah, data vault. No. Whoa, on a rebound? What, huh? It is? I mean, it's not. Like, it's really not. On a rebound? See, that's an interesting question when it literally just broke its lows. And on the day, on 125 million shares, it made a small bounce. Oh, fine, if you 27 cents to 29. But if that's the case, then you had to have already pegged this entry at 27.5 cents. Right? Like that's, which is fair. Like there's trades here too. Like you could have tried it at 31 cents. That was kind of okay before it broke down. You probably lose. And then you get this one here with a nice little bottoming tail. You take 27.5 cents. You get it in the lows 27s. You risk half a cent. And then you try to take a bunch out there 28 to 29. That's over because it's already pulling back. So that's an opportunity. But yuck, and more yuck because I think that opportunity is gone. And our friend, the YXT, again, tapped 23 bucks. Should be open in about, this will be a 10-minute hold. So give it 3 minutes. And then it'll be open again. Longer halt just means more implied volatility. The only reason they ever do 5 minutes, or sorry, 10 minutes versus 5 minutes is because there's a lack of liquidity to open it up in a reasonable fashion. And it looks like should have reloaded the same price on IBIT. Was hoping ETH would give a better pullback. But if it breaks out the top, I'm looking between 75, 80 for a fill, and then we'll try to ride it a little bit higher. But penny stock and rebound, 2 cents is not that, it's not that great unless you've already taken it. Stay away from those.
All right, yeah, no, I agree. And this one is going to, now it's 22.40 and 22.50. It's turning around right now. We have less than a minute and a half now. Well, now it's back to 23, so it's probably going to open up around that 23 marker. So, yeah, watch out for XYT coming through. Yeah, just a little look. Well, whatever. It'll open up, but I'll call it back up for you guys in just a matter of moments. $93 still on Robinhood. Let's zoom this back up. We can have a look at the market. Yeah, okay, flattish on the day there for Robinhood. A quick little look at SoFi maybe. 1850, that's not down, but that's not bad. Like, you know, we'll take it. And, you know, we, even before earnings had come for SoFi, we'd always talked about the $20 marker as a possible area there for SoFi. And it looks like we're going to fail off that. I mean, hopefully we don't. I mean, today's not a marker of, you know, anything other than let's wait to see if that is the turnaround. What you're looking for to confirm that this is possibly going to be a problem is right into there. You want to cover up yesterday's candle. So in order for that to be like a doji star, like kind of like what we were here, although this was green, you know, you come back in once you break this, the level after that topping candle right there, that's when you want to get into the short. So that short around 1775 would have brought you down to 15. Risky business heading into earnings, but that's what the trade looks like. And then upside from there up into $19 right now. And look what a surprise, bouncing off of those levels. But it's like, why am I even messing around with SoFi? If every time I thought about SoFi, I just added to my position in JP Morgan, then we would be laughing all the way to literally the bank. As right now, JP Morgan looks like this. And wow, unbelievable movement off that 280. We were talking about earlier about that 280 being the lows, and it's just sort of kicked it off from there up to 295, bounced around there, and then just absolutely mooned, including last earnings call, gave it the juice to get going back upside right now. All right, that YXT is now open, so it's open. Okay, it's going to halt down right now. There it is. So it's halted down at 21.40. Just saw it sort of pick up there, halt down. Now you're going to $20.93. So looks like the long might have been okay for now, but we'll see.
It's almost like you just have to.
Yeah, it's like because you would be in, if you're in on the last halt, you're in at 22, so you're still okay.
Yeah.
There. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure how people are even trading these things. It's not my cup of tea, but definitely something that we'll look at. And wasn't there another one earlier today, like really early?
No, I think it
was just YXT there, wasn't it?
No, there was another one.
Oh,
but
JL,
I think
it was this one.
JLHL, right?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, that one dumped. I knew there was another one, but I knew it dumped.
Underneath VWAP right now. So I think
well,
12 short.
Maybe that's not a dump.
Might be what it is there. 12 short into 950 there. So yeah, I'm still trying to find out a little bit more there. Amazon getting murdered, someone said. Yeah, we were short Amazon right there. We went long early, then Amazon downside. Shout out to Farley Man. What's up, Farley Man? Chris Farley. What a talent. But rest in peace. May he rest in peace. There goes the move to the downside. Yeah, Amazon getting wrecked a little bit there today with my good friend Google. And unfortunately, Google still down in that 4%. And we're still holding the long. We have a small piece left in both of these names, and it does look like SpaceX does get that 109 bounce. It only bounces to 109.50, I believe, or so. Then right back in again. So, yeah, SpaceX still thinks it's the one here at 109. I was so interested for tomorrow.
I was only gonna say, because you were bringing up JP, like that's another, like there's always a bull market somewhere. Like the financials have been like fantastic. Like they're starting to arch up. And if you look at what's going on, oh, that Dell weekly chart looks fantastic, by the way. But that's what I had on last, so we're just gonna leave that up. But if you zoom it out a little bit further and then look at the XLF, like on the weekly chart, like this is a breakout that's accelerating over the prior high. So it's continuing to make higher lows. Everything is upward sloping. Like the last time it did like a breakout of the prior high and started to accelerate, like you got a nice like 10%. It actually went 20% from the break. It did pull back, because what are you gonna do? That was April, so in April 2025, everyone knows what happened at that time. You can't really do it. You can't do anything about that, but it gave you the dip back into the breakout price, which on whatever the next turn is, I'm thinking like 50 period, or if it does get into the mid 60s, then dip into the breakout price would be a play to go for the XLF. Again, there's been strength. Like at one point, it was that those the healthcare biopharmas were fantastic. They pulled back. Little bit of opportunity to get in, and then you're seeing the same thing with the financials. You know, one little pullback, it's easier to buy an uptrend than it is to try to catch a falling knife. Let's go up to the desk. Sia, what do you have for us, Sia?
Thank you. The IWM is currently down 0.37%, same levels as when I did the happening. Now, to be very precise, let's take a look at two individual tickers. Now, Kratos Defense is something that lost their earnings. They reported, earnings yesterday. After the bell, we did briefly touch it, but we didn't get into it. So let's just take a look at what happened here. The stock is up 7% on the day, trading around the $55 region. It reported revenue, which has grown 30.5% year over year. And in Q2, that's driven by acquisitions as well as organic growth. Net income here is more than doubling the 6-month period. Backlog has reached $2.084 billion, and the company has ended the quarter with $1.44 billion in cash and no long-term debt. Not a bad look for the company. Kratos Defense and Security Solutions up over 7% on the day. Let's also take a look at URGN here. That is Eurogen Pharma, that's trading around the $45 region right now, up 12.5% on the day. Revenue has surged to $72.5 million, which has been led by Zosduri, which is a gel medication that basically treats recurrent low-grade intermediate risk non-muscle invasive bladder cancer. So the rapid adoption of this medicine that was approved also by the FDA in early 2025 and strong community uptake. Net loss for the company has narrowed to $14.4 million. And at the same time, you have cash and equivalents that have risen and totaled to $108 million. So you have URGN that's up 12.5% and KTOS up over 7% on the day.
I'm probably like 9%. Sorry, thank you there, Steve. We're just talking about banks and long-term accounts, and I was pulling up a TD chart for myself because, like, for me, like I have to double check. Probably 8 to 10% of what I have is multiple Canadian banks, and then I have two because I actually got into this one because whatever. I got into it because a friend worked there, and it was a good-looking chart. And Canadian banks only go up. I'm not making an excuse. No, they have a U.S. exposure, but that's what made it lag from the time I got in. If I had bought more of CIBC at the time I bought TD Bank, I would have made 30 to 40% more. But that doesn't really make a difference. And then Enbridge, I have a bunch of Enbridge. My fear for the Canadian banks, their economy stinks relative to everybody else. And so when you get that, if it loses to 50, I feel like that's almost a trend. And when I say stinks, I mean, whatever. People don't care about the Canadian economy. Like we have a very high youth unemployment rate. Our growth is one of the worst, and we have the worst comeback financially since the COVID bounce. Like of all the major economies, I'm pretty sure we're either the worst or the second worst in terms of bounce back in GDP. Don't at me. I'm pretty sure we're the worst. So there's a lot of concerns, a lot of things under the hood that don't look very good. There's just not much happening. So I'm going to, we're back off VWAP, but not doing much with it. So take what you get on that and see where it wants to go. There's really nothing popping off on the scans outside, like SpaceX is dropping like a rock. Oh, by the way, remember SpaceX, the lockup tomorrow. So lockup expiration on SpaceX, one thing to think about is, and I'm going to be more open-minded about it, because last time there was a huge lockup expiration that I can remember was ARMS, its initial one at least, and there was this big overall sentiment that it had to dump that day. It's like, oh, it's going to dump, and I remember even talking to some traders, oh, it's going to be like the greatest short ever, and like the first thing it did, like right at 9:30, was a heck of a big up candle. Which, because I think that's like sort of the, if everyone anticipates one thing and then it doesn't do that right away, there could be people, especially if it's trending down in the pre-market, there could be people getting squeezed and short covered like right away off the bat. So that's certainly something to watch. For 9:30 tomorrow, the lockup expiration. And I know there's tranches. This is just the first. There's another one that'll come up a little bit later. But that's the big story after the earnings, which there weren't any. Still think it was a pretty good growth quarter, but it doesn't matter. It was good growth.
Yeah, we also had, I mean, look, there's going to be a lot of good stocks there in Canada, and funny what you guys are saying there on the chat that you do care about us because of the 51st state. That's pretty good. All right, so this has been a lot of volume here today. It's not halting or anything, but this INLF is up 100% as well as we enter the hour of power right now. But yeah, that's another name. You break through VWAP. I think this could be interesting there at 715 there on VWAP. So I think that could be a good level there, breaking higher if INLF gets going. Just wanted to bring that to y'all's. See, I mean, starting to get more Texas-like there and a little draw y'all's attention over there. I mean, I still don't think Canada says, we don't say about. Like, people are saying about. Like, I don't know.
I don't hear
About someone for saying that, but yeah, no, I don't know.
hear our.
Neither do I, but I'm sure it exists. I mean, you guys tell me. Yeah, Halifax.
I'm in Halifax all the time. I
Whatever.
go to Halifax
Halifax,
all
those
times
people
a
are
year.
different to begin with.
I actually, so I
that
did debate, which is weirdly very like East Coast. I also have a very good friend who was raised in the East Coast, and that accent is real, but it doesn't come out all the time. Like there are times where like, you know, hear people from that region talk like
Oh, for sure.
up there, and it's pretty heavy. And I also know like even in there was this guy in Big Brother Canada season 6, I think his name was Will. He was from Newfoundland, and his accent was so heavy that if he drank like a drop of alcohol, they had to add subtitles. So it is real. It's just in certain regions of the world.
Oh yeah, I know. Canada has a strong. I mean, out east has a strong accent. Man.
It's just,
very, very strong.
I would say you have to get outside of like Halifax is not even that big, but like my brother lives there. It hasn't changed one bit. But then he's
not born and raised there.
Like but his in-law who lives like just like 1 hour and a half north will come and visit. And I'm just like, what?
Oh yeah. No. If you're
what?
from the East Coast, you speak differently.
You just leave any major city when there's no one around, and it's crazy. I can't understand half this.
SpaceX right now is $10 in the money. So Yahoo on this one. Yeah, I mean it's the same as everywhere, right? Boston has their draw, and everybody has something about them. But there goes SpaceX, man. I mean, this is what we're talking about. This is a trading show. This is, I mean, every day we're trying to put on multiple dollar winners. SpaceX just continues to go downside right there. A good hold. I mean, if you guys are playing options, man, you made a lot of money on this. But there it goes down to 108. You know, approaching all-time lows of 104. I'll probably just hold this the whole way, man. At this point, I regret not punching short at 110. That was the trade that we should have put on there, but you know, I didn't do it. We're still going to hold on to this and watch it bleed down to the downside. Oh yeah, and we did get out. I mentioned this before. We got out of Google there. Only have one small piece left now as we get out, as it bumps back up, and the market's trying to bleed a little lower. So that's that stock there. Lucid still doing not much. Except for going downside, down 17% there off of a good take early on, but just unable to hold it as there that goes now. Back down to the downside goes Lucid. All right, so that XYT just opened again, XYXT. And yeah, like we said, it doesn't seem like you're in that much trouble yet with this name. Maybe if it halts up, we can break back above, but that high there was only temporarily at $25. So we could see if it wants to blast just a little bit, but I don't know how to, and maybe you guys can tell me, like how do you know that this is going to do this? Like we are down at $7, $8, $9 there, and I would just love to add, I think I'm proving my worth as a trader, hopefully every day with what we're showing you guys, but I want to add to the abilities and look at some more small cap names and give it to you guys and put on some bangers, right? Not just scalping in and out of them, like actually make some real cash. And right here, I like wish there was a way that I knew that this was going to happen. I mean, we talk about the short float and all that, and then you look at some other stocks. Every time I try to get involved, not every time, but a lot of times they don't run this way. And so that's that. And you try, and I've tried many times. That there was that SkyQ, there was a whole bunch of, look, man, if there's going to be small cap names running around, I don't have a problem taking them, and you guys know that. But like, to have confidence to put on some real share size would be interesting, right? I really haven't seen anybody put on like real share size into any of these names, other than what you guys are putting on there in the chat, right? Like, oh, I just made $5,000 or something like that. Like, I want to be able to do something like that on these kind of plays, because they really are daily. Like, I know I'm doing it on Palantir and all these other ones, but like, just to join, see, like now it's going to halt up, right? So this to me looks like I should probably be buying this right now, right? And so, like, given the opportunity, I could probably get long right now at 70. There's a lot going through there. I could load up any of these dark pools and probably get involved or something like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, just haven't really been able to see the way, and we'll get, maybe Neil knows, but way to get into these and make a lot of cash.
The only thing I can tell you, there was one trader 2 years.
No, this is the problem. Like one.
No, it was COVID,
Yeah,
and but his strategy was he didn't touch the average small capper. He touched the ones that had where the volatility was so big or the spread was so large that it was a halt trade. And so what he used to do is if he saw this, I know, like, he would take the halt breakout, right? And specifically, like, he would try to get filled on the bid when it's halting up on the break. And then, if it worked, meaning it opens higher, he'd take out a piece and then he'd try to hold. And then if it goes in the down, I'm pretty sure what he used to do is if it did this a couple of times, like whatever the third halt would be, he'd look to get out of all of it. And then if it didn't work, he's just like, okay, like, hopefully you just don't lose more than, like the prior breakout. So he'd try to be long 12.30, and he'd probably have to have a stop underneath $10. And if there was one or two of them, then great. But then he'd go, sometimes it'd be nothing to trade. Like, he wouldn't get into anything. And it worked pretty well for him for a while, but he was a trader that he only liked the halts. So and that's the hard part, is like predicting, well, what the heck's going to halt? So he'd have to have a scanner up saying, like, what are the stocks that have moved enough that they're a big chance of halting? Because by the time it hits the halt band, you have 15 seconds to execute. Like, a scanner saying this stock's at the halt band, you have to flip to it. Then you have to go, do I like the chart? Sit on the bid, and then try to get a fill. You have to actually be on that stock the entire time. So I don't know. I
mean, we just nailed that idea. I was like, I should just be getting long here at 22.70, and now it's gonna maybe open up at 25. I mean, that would be an absolute monster, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about.
It always comes down to what your out's gonna be. That's the tricky thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, and that's why, like
what's the downside risk on it?
We've seen thousands of traders here. And we remember one in the last 2 years, right? So that's part of the problem.
Well, I'm specifically talking about somebody that would have traded this stock.
Right, me too, yeah.
And have a strategy for this that I have seen work. And it was very specifically the breakout, but the halt breakout. Like, if it just broke out and didn't halt, I don't think he was even taking it, to be honest. Like, I only ever saw him in halt stocks.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Well, I just see there Intel at the high of the day. Yeah, that's a good. I mean, again, another one, maybe lucky to have gotten this early, but I wanted to buy some Intel. We took advantage of the AMD weakness, really, in the morning to do that. It did come back in and give us another gorgeous long down there at $98. So I think Intel would have been one to look at there as we push forward on INTC. But yeah, man, so far so good here today. Thanks for everybody for watching us. We're going to go back up to the desk with Miss Sia.
The SPY is in the green. Let's take a look at what is going on in the market right now and what's moving these sectors and not. Electric tech, you have Nvidia that's up 4.6%. That's furthered its gains. Apple is flat. Broadcom, Intel, Cisco, all the names that I had called out earlier. Micron, GE, ANET, all in the green. SNDK, that's reporting after the bell, as well as WDC, both at 4:05 p.m. Currently, SNDK down 1.4% and WDC is flat on the day. Marvell is down 1.8%. You have RTX that's up almost 2% on the day. Now, names like TER is down close to 3%. You have HONA down 4% and NXPI down 2.5%, with MCHP also down 2%. Tech services, we have Google that's furthered its losses, down 4.3% on the day. Meta down 1%. Microsoft down 0.65% to be precise. Oracle is also in the red, and Palantir sliding further down, past the 2% mark as well. Netflix, PAW flat. However, IBM, CRWD, and CRM in the green right now, with IBM leading the trio, up 1%. Moving on to... That's okay. Finance. Let's take a look at finance. BRKB, Visa, MasterCard are flat at the moment. You have JPM, Bank of America, MSGS, that's furthered again its gains, up almost 2% on the day. ACHW as well is up 1.7% right now. But the names that I called out earlier, KKR has come back a little bit from its losses, but it's still down over 2.5% on the day. Let's take a look. Retail trade, Amazon down 2%. You have CVS that has furthered its losses, down 4% on the day. Health tech, there was strength right off the bat. Lilly up 3.5%. Just a couple moments ago was up 4.1%. Now it's 3.6%. ABBV is also in the green. MRK, J&J, as well as AMGN. I want to take a look at Myrna here and what's the levels it's trading at, if I can spot it on the map. Give me 1 second. Yes, I cannot find it. Never mind. Let's move on. Pfizer flat on the day. I can't see Myrna. Am I blind? Yeah, never mind. Let's go. Let's move on. I'm going to take a look at PODD as well. That is down a whopping 20% on the day. And this proves that I do need glasses because I can't find Myrna. Consumer durables, you have Tesla that's down 2%. Consumer services, McDonald's is up 1%. Disney, that also reported. Not a bad look for Disney over here. That's up 3.4% as well. And BKNG up 6.2%. Energy minerals sliding towards the downside. Names, all of which are in the red. Bullish, bearish a little bit here on the day. Producer manufacturing as well. CAT and GEV in the green. All other names that are leading the sector here. AMET and LRCX in the red. And finally, to finish it off, consumer non-durables. You have industrial sectors, commercial, transportation, just like before, and non-energy are in a bag of mixed sentiment over here. Not a crazy look, nothing crazy going on. Finally, in health services, UNH up 2%, CNC up almost 6% on the day.
Yeah, just keep an eye here on USO in the market. Not too much of a move here yet, but Reuters reporting that apparently Iran is starting to hit Gulf states if the U.S. launches new strikes. So once again, if the U.S. launches new strikes, according to Iran, they are going to be hitting these Gulf states. So again, new strikes from the U.S. could result in strikes against the Gulf states by Iran. Reuters reporting this. If I get more details, I'll keep you posted.
Thanks to I actually got a thought with. And it's thanks to Sia, because it was that sector watch and seeing all the healthcare stocks were strong, right? The Pharma as well, and seeing Bristol Myers down 3.5%. And then I'm reminded, oh, right, because AstraZeneca, the rumor that they were going to buy them, and then no. And then when that happens, look, it completely reverses. The rumor they're going to buy, the denial, and it pulls right back. But you know what? Last I checked, this was still a stock that was breaking up. Before this even happened, the stock was breaking out. So if it's just going to dip back in here into 62s or even better, like the 50 period, sometimes like the market does like these weird things where like something will happen. I'll use the, here, CVX. It always comes down to what's the last time something like this that I can reference it to. And the last thing I can remember would be Chevron, like you had the spike for Venezuela, right? So it goes into the spike for Venezuela, like, all the euphoria, it pulls right back in. And then it had this huge level where when it finally got past the initial breakout, things went ham. So you mark off that level, okay, well, that was a big fundamental event. And then, of course, the Iran happens. Well, what happened when we pull back in? The entire time we were pulling back, it's like, remember the Venezuela high, remember the Venezuela high. Bounces clean off the Venezuela high. So I think it's a similar thing when you're looking for stocks. Like it goes back to brass tacks, and what's the story? That Bristol Myers is a good company. That does Bristol Myers need AstraZeneca to just become the 4th largest ever? Or was it already a good stock that would have been nice if they got a deal and got an extra bump, but on its own, it was doing absolutely fine. So I like BMY. IBIT is breaking, but remember I said I had the next offer was in 75 to 80, so it just tagged that. Keep in mind, Bitcoin, unlike ETH it looks a little bit better for that consolidated break, but there's a lot of overhead resistance here in Bitcoin. The next at 65, 1,000 because we're at 64.9 here. When I look up, that's what I'm doing. 64.9 is what we're at because I don't memorize it. So 65,000 obviously is a psychological level. There's no exact for it, but have a look at the last time we were up here. We rejected right at about 36.90, 37. So that's where I think the top is today, and that's where I want to get out in front of because 65 has been a problem. Go pull up a daily chart of Bitcoin. You'll temper your expectations about how far any bounce is going to go. Did YXT not even open up? It's been 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's going to right now.
Oh, it's not. Oh, it's 10 minutes now.
Yeah, it's going to be right now. So here comes the, good sort of segue.
I forgot
there.
about
It's
that,
going to be just a matter of time. We have it right here on our halt scanner. We can at least see the times. Oh, XSHP. Nothing happened there. So this is going to give us all the names there and then the time. So 3 o'clock and 1 second. So we're approaching now. Oh, we could just keep it here just for a couple minutes. I just asked in the chat, I don't think anybody actually believes that SpaceX is going to $50, right? I mean, there's some people in the chat that are asking. If you do believe it, that's great. I don't believe it's going that low. I do have a stop at 110 break on this position. Here goes 1 and 1. There it is. So yeah, it does open $25. So huge move there. Well, see, that would have been a nice win there for us, but I don't have it. So now we'll wait to see where this name goes from here back up to the upside. So we were just saying we'd buy that 2270. Didn't, of course. And then there's the rip higher into $25. It looks like we may halt at some point again very, very soon. And we got to mark down our limit up and limit down bands.
27.4, I see.
27.4. Okay,
it's kind of hard to. I gotta read.
Yeah, you got to scroll all the way down and figure this out.
Well, my color's not distinct enough.
But there it is now. YXT.com right now blasting new levels. 25 million. This is the one. There it is. So it's already. It just broke through the limit up level.
No, it's 83.
Okay, so there it is right there. 83s right now. So this will halt upside. So who's taking this, man? Hands up if you're taking this trade right now. And if you're still in it, congratulations. I mean, like I said, this just moved up $6 there as we were watching it and didn't really have a feel on what to do. So a good level there on YXT as it just blasts higher. So now I'm thinking oh man, why didn't I take it when we were talking about it? All right, so SpaceX, I'm just gonna use that 110, man. I mean, I really did like it earlier, and there's the breakout through 110. Someone in the chat was like that I'm probably holding a small amount. Yeah, I'm holding a very, very small amount. But again, that depends on who you talk to, right? I mean, it depends on your share size, what the small amount is. We're just trying to show you guys the trades, right? I mean, you don't even no one cares if we're green, red, what's going on, who makes the most, who makes the least. It doesn't matter. We're just talking about these trades, right? I've already admitted that I have to do a better job of holding on and not, worried about the P&Ls when we're seeing it come through and just take. That's why we did a good, some of these are just small amounts of shares there, but, getting out key levels, I feel like on support and resistance. I'm just a simple man, simple support and resistance. So on the way back down in, there's VWAP, then we took 112.50, then we took 112, then we took 111, then we took 110, and now we have one piece left, and we're going to wait to see what winds up happening to the downside, and to the point of where I just want to wait for 110 to break back upside. So if that does break back upside, then we'll get out. And, just doing things that are pretty simple, right? Like these outs coincide with what we were seeing in the pre-market and all the way back down to the downside. So, what would be 5% position for me could be a full position for somebody else and vice versa. So it doesn't really matter. We don't disclose share size for that reason. So if you guys are interested in it, you can always ask us to talk about the stocks that we've been in today and review some of the things. Like I've only traded Amazon today, and that was long into the short, which we still had that. This is a good stock for me today. That's for sure. We made more than double what we made on Amazon. We made more than double. And I'll talk like this about losing stocks, winning stocks, whatever. Google, we made more than double than on Amazon. That was just a hold all the way down. And we didn't even have to use big shares for this one, and nor would I. Like when you're catching a falling knife, especially on news, I actually not very proud of this trade. I mean, the fact that it moved back up is great, and we exited out a lot right here on the 25 period moving average, but catching a falling knife, I'm screw-faced on that one. I don't, that was a tough one. Lucid was an easy trade. for sure. Just got stopped out right there at the pre-market high. But this was my number one trade idea today, and we cashed in on it. But we didn't. Again, we made more money on Amazon and more money on Google than that one. We're going to be red on Palantir because of that last little stop right there. But again, nothing to really write home about. A loss there on Palantir as it goes higher there. Would have loved to have held it, but we went out for our walk. It doesn't matter. I had to stop there, and it was at the 200 period. And then, of course, the last trade for me today. So it's 6 symbols. Google, Lucid, Palantir, SpaceX, Amazon, and Amazon, and right here, SpaceX. So yeah, we're having a good day. It's a decently positive day here. It's only about 1.5 times the goal that we sort of set for ourselves, which is always nice to have. And then we'll just wait to see where we go from here on SpaceX, and then look for some more opportunities. We'll review the earnings calendar.
It's a very busy earnings calendar.
That might give us something.
It's not, in terms of like the massive market cap names, you might be a little light there, except for, obviously SanDisk is going to be a big one. But it's like, there's a lot, but nothing too crazy. And we'll get to that, I know, in a quick little second with the dare. Because it's only 314, 315.
Yeah, it's still lots of time.
Just very quickly, it's now 28.8 for you guys with XYT. If you're wondering, I just saw, for a second there, I swear I saw the tap up at like $30, but it's jumping around. But yeah, $29, so it's all over the place. But one of the things, I think, when it comes down to like what, it doesn't really make a difference. Like one of the things that, and I was having a conversation in the chat with somebody, I didn't catch the name, so apologies there, but you'll know who you are in a quick little second. It really just comes down to what did you risk on the individual trade, right? Like the reason I'm not happy with this original entry in Alphabet, like at 65, because it broke up through 65, and then it came to 66, and I was risking $1. It was like the stop was at 64. And I didn't get it out when it hit the 1-to-1. And the worst part about it, you have to remember, when I'm looking at it like this. So I did not zoom out to see this gigantic, obvious problem that the first bounce at 1-to-1 rejected the prior day low. And it was a double bottom too. That might be the most obvious resistance spot to have trying to try to go long in front. But I stuck with the 1-to-1. I should have had an out there, and then and then I would have been for sure taking it all out in front of like 368. Right? Like that's the plan. You risk that $1, go bang, bang, and then that's how you get like a 2 or 3-to-1. And the reason I like to trade like that is because I'll trade a bunch more symbols, but I believe in the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. So you'll have usually 1 or 2 stocks that takes it. So I'll try to risk the same amount, relatively speaking, when it's in the same pocket, and then you get 1 reversion, and then that can go. We're going to go back up to the desk. By the way,
there's news on Meta.
32.13, there's news on Meta. $32 now on YXT.
Yeah, we'll start here with the news on Meta before we get into the earnings after the bell. META, it's debuting its first AI coding platform called Muse Code. This is already previously teased by Mark Zuckerberg, but he also announced here on X alongside this Muse Code launch that Muse Spark 1.2 is their next step. So we've got Muse Spark 1.2, we've got Muse Code. Good look here for META as far as some of these releases are concerned. Before we send you back though to Sean and Neil, be remiss if I didn't go over our TTV Research implied earnings moves calendar. Here are the names reporting after the bell. I'm missing some. I think Mercado Libre is also reporting. Same with Albemarle, but we've got to focus on what the people are going to be most focused on here. So you've got Duolingo, Axon, Expedia at 4 p.m. At 4:05, you have, bear with me, WDC, Fastly, IONQ, Dutch Bros, AppLovin, Figma, XYZ, SanDisk, Elf, and Joby at 4:10. You have Beyond Meat, and actually last quarter they reported at 4:09, so we actually could get this around 4:10. 4:15, SMR. I have earnings previews already here on X at TTV Research for IONQ, AppLovin, and SanDisk, and SMR. BYND is going to be coming here before the bell in terms of that earnings preview. And yeah, guys, like largest expected move, and it's not even close, is Beyond Meat. Smallest expected move here is XYZ. That's the look for our earnings calendar. But guys, you're like, Adara, where do I find this? X at TTV Research. That's what we do. Back to you.
Thanks, Adara. That's a busy one, but also, you know you've done something right. Beyond Meat, well, first of all, they haven't done anything right. But the one thing they've done right is have enough of a following or interest in the stock to be 62 cents and still be on people's watch list, like when they report, and somehow not be gone. They're still listed, they're still on the NASDAQ. I don't know how long that's going to last, but they're still here. They haven't died yet. They seem to always just beat the clock and get back over $1 and do the reverse split. Do what you got to do for Beyond Meat. But the fact that it's a 20% expected move, I mean, come on. It's a penny stock. 20% doesn't actually get them off the hook. That stock needs to climb. It needs to make the buck. So you just try to survive long enough to the next split, or until they can actually get a run over $1. But that's when it's probably going down. 34.50 now.
Oh, man.
It's not 34.50. It was 34.50 the tap a second ago, so shout out to Russell Peters. But now 34.11 YXT. 1,100%. I don't like the way that they show the percentage when it's over 1,000, like 1.14K. It's a very strange way to do it because it makes me read it wrong, which bothers me. But as much as crypto's going up, you're not seeing silver fall through. You know what? I'm going to listen to the brain and punch out at flat and not even let it get to the bottom. And part of the reason why, rightly or wrongly, CGLD, like it's still pulling back. Gold was stronger in the first place. And so if the thesis was that silver would get dragged up with gold and finally start going off of VWAP, well, look what's happening to GLD. Let me zoom back in. It's starting to fall off. So if that's going to happen, there's no need to still be in silver. Let's go up to Adair at the desk.
This story we already heard yesterday. The same stocks already reacted, but keep an eye here on FSLR and ENPH, especially FSLR for solar and some of these other solar names dropping on reports that President Trump is preparing tariffs and price floors to boost U.S. polysilicon. Apparently, U.S. officials are discussing at least 15% tariffs on U.S. polysilicon. This would include apparently offsets for domestic manufacturers. But either way here, FSLR to the downside at $13 to the downside here if you measure like from this wick top to the wick low. So let's see what happens here for First Solar. Again, on reports that President Trump and his administration are preparing tariffs and price floors in order to boost polysilicon in the U.S.
Okay, there. All I heard was offset, so I just thought about Migos and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, right now YXT has just reopened and halted immediately again. So, we'll have to wait to see. We did get it at 3. I mean, Neil was just talking about it, but there's a couple halts there in a row. 10s, and then was open for a minute, then opened back up at 16 or so, and closed at 16:30. So again, about like 40 seconds or so opening times for each every single time YXT opens up. We actually got about a 2.5 minutes right here, the second to last time that we halted. And this time I think it may be, I don't know, my judgment would be that it might turn around here, but I'm not really basing that on anything, as there it goes all the way to the halt side. Now it's easy to say that one is at 32.50, but the halt was 32.13. Look, like here it halted, went down, but then just ripped back up again. Here it halted, went down, then just took off again. Even here, halted all the way to the downside, then broke that one halt level. There it is, open back up again. Wow, way underneath right now. Halting immediately. This one will be approximately 15 seconds of open. It opens down at the halt price. So how convenient is that? Like, you didn't even have a chance to get anything out of this one. Opens up immediately and halts right there. And I was just like, oh, maybe this is the one that goes down. But again, cherry picking, because there's no way I would have known that. But there it goes into the downside now for YXT, now 24.55. So this is the problem with these stocks. And this is why I still really haven't gotten like a clean answer on how to trade these things. But like now, all of a sudden, you can't control your downside, which is part of the huge risk there with these names, right? We can't control where this is going. And YXT right now, tapping, now it's 27. So now all of a sudden, it's not that bad. But yeah, congratulations to anybody that's been on that one so far. My guy Joe is now back in the building there. It is a hot day.
Third halt thing, at least.
Outside.
I think that's why he
Maybe,
did it.
yeah, the 1, 2, 3, third halt.
I think he did, but the thing is, there was a couple of times I remember he'd be sitting there pissed off because something would, like he'd be out and it would go another 300% because he was getting out on the third halt.
Yeah, you're never going to take the top or the bottom anyway.
But it seems like that's not, you have to have something to protect your downside. Anyways, and I had just fixed my halt bands
to protect your neck.
I just fixed my halt bands so we can show you them live. One thing I will tell you is,
almost out of SpaceX.
If you are trading these things that move that much and your broker doesn't have the halt bands, you probably want to at least know where they are. Just going to throw that out there. Ours are displayed visually on the level 2, which this one's happening so fast. Like I want to show you guys, but by the time we pull up the stock, like it's halting almost instantly. So knowing where the halt bands are is going to be pretty important. I think, at least for myself. FSLR, believe it or not, the halt band did show up. If it had dropped, I think it was another $4 that actually was approaching. I did see it at like 223 or so on First Solar. Solar's been trouble, but the sad part with this is it was on a bit of a breakout, unfortunately. And today, if you're into this sort of thing, today looks like there's going to be a death cross on FSLR. So you get negative news and a death cross as, they're about to hit the lows once again. Thank you for the super chat for AV Blank. Would you short and hold SNDK today? I've said this before, I have never shorted overnight or in a swing or anything in my personal account. Like a couple of times I have sold covered calls, stuff that I have owned, and that's about as far as it goes. And on SNDK, that'd be as scary as it gets. Like, did we just not see great quarters from two companies last night where they were down double digits? Yes, we did. Is it possible that SanDisk could do it again? True. But there's one thing I'm pretty sure about is that their numbers are going to be disgustingly good, like SK Hynix's were. So you're just kind of betting that the market's going to sell them off on good news. I mean, disgustingly good is probably the wrong word to say, but they're very good. So like fundamentally, it's going to look good, and you're just kind of hoping that the market's going to sell it off. What's your downside risk? How are you playing it? Right? Like you have to have your own plan of action. There's tremendous opportunity there. Because I guarantee you, what did see the expected move was, shoot, she just had him up there. I don't know, I want to say it was 11, but it doesn't really matter.
10% or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably double digits is the expected move, and easily could do 15 to 20, just based on all the leverage that we know is probably still in play. I don't believe for 1 minute that if one dude blew up over leverage in this trade, that nobody else was. There were people that were following along, so there's probably a little bit that could still unwind, and this would be the exact moment that it could happen. So yeah, you're tremendous upside. I just think holding anything, gambling on the direction of earnings is one of the trickiest things to do. Buying dips on value after earnings or joining a trend after earnings, those are the simple things. It's the simple ways in life. Or you get like a bad piece of news that you think doesn't fundamentally affect the stocks. You buy the dip, like that Bristol Myers, I think could be an opportunity. Like that's a simple thing. It's an uptrend, some kind of weirdness happens, it gets a dip, some of it might have been a little bit too far, go buy that. That would be more my modus operandi. But one way or another, tomorrow's gonna be wild. I'll probably be looking at DRAM myself after SNDK reports. It just lost 1,400 and dropped $10 for what it's worth.
Yeah, I remember last time on their last report, man, it bounced into $1,000, and we're like, you got to buy that. So maybe $1,000 again. All right, SpaceX right here.
35 down.
Yeah, I don't know, who knows. SpaceX to the downside, we just covered at 110 break, so it's right here at 110 still. So we covered it there. I think there could be some upside now into the close, but remember we have those imbalances coming through, right? So those imbalances have sent SpaceX moving around at 350, as you can see, as we got ready yesterday at 350, like up and down. And yesterday at this time we were at $130 or so there, and that's the earnings, right? But you can see right there at 350, whoops, downside, imbalance comes out, whoop, upside, and then we had earnings come through, and now it's nothing but non-love there for SpaceX. It looked like it was catching a lot of love early, and then it was just like, see you later to the downside. It makes that 108 bottom once again. All-time low, though, not touched yet, 105. It's 104.80 and change right there. Okay, I'm going to show you guys who made all the money at Real Trading, or the numbers, when we get back from SIA. So don't go anywhere. We're going to show you the top 10 traders here at Real Trading and their P&Ls from last night. Let's go back over to Sia at the desk.
We're going to talk about currencies. Also want to mention commodity here. Copper has hit all-time highs, so climbed almost 2% to settle at $6.7275 to be very precise, dollars per pound, to hit its highest levels on record that have dated back to the year 1988. Copper now is up nearly 19% this year and 11% after the war on Iran had begun. Also, let's take a look at Indian rupee and what it's doing right now, trading around around the 95 region. It's ended at its highest level in a month as of today, aided by its lower crude oil prices. Also, the RBI, that is the Reserve Bank of India's widely expected policy pause that is limited some of the currency early gains. The Indian rupee at 95.1, that's where it stopped today. Also take a look at USD, JPY, the Japanese yen pair. We do know that the Bank of Japan intervened and there was some help with by the United States as well here. So it has steadied, I would say, as of today after the intervention by the Bank of Japan. Currently trading around 157 and up very, very less, minutely, but 0.02%. Well, almost flat on the day. Let's take a look at the dollar and send it back to the guys. The dollar has been trading around 7-week lows as of today against other currencies. Also, as we do know it, on revived hopes to end the Iran war that have been blunted on the safe haven demand that's down on the day, 0.16% to be very precise. Also, while we're on the topic of it, according to the New York Fed, the Dallas and New York Federal Reserve banks both are planning to launch a pilot survey into the estimated $1.3 trillion private credit market after the end of the third quarter. Just something that I thought to mention. Sending it back to the guys.
Okay, thanks there, Sia. SpaceX does lose out on that 110 again, looking like it wants to go just a bit lower on that one.
What's the LOD?
LOD is Legion of Doom. It says 106.19, but it's not there right now. 108 right there says Hawk in Animal.
Top 5, maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, Legion of Doom was pretty high. Demolition also very, very good. All right, let's go find out who's making the money, and I'll just spin this because the first trader yesterday made a lot of money. And again, like, I don't know what size of these guys' accounts are, but that doesn't, here are real trading, it doesn't really matter because, you know, there's people with millions of dollars in buying power and, you know, like myself, for example, and make, you know, $1,000 a day would be huge, right? So there's 60,000 right there on Amex and NASDAQ. There's 14, there's 11, it's 9, and these are the markets that they're trading, and this is US denominated. So, you know, whether or not you're trading Canada right there, this would be 6,600 in US dollars. So they're trading the Canadian market. This is what it's at right here. This is a trader that's, and again, this is why real trading is such a special place, because we have over 60 live markets to trade with. Amsterdam, Canada, Copenhagen, Helsinki, NASDAQ, all of these names traded in Amex, NASDAQ, and New York. So no blue ocean here there yesterday and nothing like that. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening tonight.
What about the market one? That has...
top traders per, right up here, yeah. So this shows you the top traders by market. So that one trader there that made 59,000, 58 of it was on the Amex.
That's the only reason I asked, because it's like, was that way you
and then I did see blue ocean.
Because then you could see NASDAQ.
But what was the top, the bottom list here was, okay, so yeah, so this trader on blue ocean right into here only made 2,700 and didn't make, you know, $3,000 more to make the top 10 list. So still a good one there. Yeah, Turkey, that's been one that we've seen lately on the market. So someone's figured something out there on Turkey, maybe some of the imbalances of the closing trades, because it's been pretty consistent there. Hong Kong, blue ocean, OTC pink, of course. We've talked about that a couple times here on the show, and then the London Stock Exchange wraps it up. And then there are markets that don't really produce a whole lot when traders aren't looking at this. Bovespa, Brazil, the Saudi Arabian market, they're $51 is the top take there on that market. So yeah, we go by over the markets, and someone in Mexico there, $500 on that one, CSE. So these change daily, which I think is why it's important that we show them. And I think that's good that Neil just mentioned that, because there are over 60 markets, but the heavily traded ones are in North America.
It's just a way that you can tell. There's a reason why and let's be real, we're going to do it again in a few minutes. Every single time we pull up the imbalance locator, if there's a big Amex name, trade or not, I'm putting it on a level 2. If there's something there that we see, which I'm not going to pretend that, like, there was a couple of days that we saw something interesting and there was some reversions there. I'm like, okay, well, you could have made there, but I've even scalped a couple of times in the last like 6 to 8 months, but it hasn't looked like it's been the close for the Amex stocks. It's probably something else. Before we go back to the desk, early looks. I swear we saw NU was on the earnings board, but 3 million sell imbalance there on NU. That's about the only thing that stands out. Everything else is pretty small. With about 15 minutes to go till the imbalances come out, let's go up to the desk. News scale was on.
It's time to go over what happened in the Asian markets with half an hour to go until earnings in the US markets. Juan, take us through what looks like it was a pretty green session in Asia last night.
Thank you, Adara. Yes, definitely. Asian markets surging after a huge tech rebound and a little bit of relief over easing oil prices. We take a look at South Korea. The South Korean Kospi up nearly 4%. A lot of strong U.S. earnings last night, boosting that of AI spending confidence, lifting semiconductor stocks in South Korea. We saw Samsung up more than 3%, while SK Hynix was surged by nearly 7% overnight. Now, in Japan, more of the same. The Nikkei 225 up by about 3.6%. Tech stocks leading the rally. We had Kyokusei Holdings climbing 7.4%. Advantes rising nearly 9%, as well as SoftBank jumping 14%. However, domestic data showing that June real wages rose for a 6th consecutive month in Japan. So that's supporting that of Bank of Japan interest rate hike in the near future. More of the same in Taiwan as well as China. Huge semiconductor equipment rally as well as hardware breakout in those sections. But as we head towards the open for the Asian markets, keep an eye out on U.S. earnings tonight. We've got SanDisk coming up later. So their guidance updates, especially in terms of memory or AI demand, that could drive a little bit of momentum, especially in Tokyo as well as Taiwan, in those hardware name sectors. And also China, okay? So China's optical and data center component right now, they've got a little bit of friction because Zhongji Innerlight, they had the biggest decline yesterday. They're optical suppliers right now, okay? There's some concerns over escalating US-China tech import restrictions, some regulatory noise. It could create further drag in that region. And, you know, unless there's been some domestic support that could provide the buy the dip window for China in terms of optical suppliers in that region.
Yeah, let's see if that dip is indeed purchased. We'll find out when these Asian markets open. And you can see one to discuss the European and Asian markets at this desk at 11:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. respectively every day that our show is on. Send you back over to the guys to end off #Power Hour.
Thank you, Adara. Thank you, One. Thank you, James Murray, for the super
What's up,
chat.
James? What's up, James?
Yeah, what's up? James is saying Palantir is up. Well, specifically, he's saying on a 30-minute chart, doesn't it look like a head and shoulders on Palantir? This is a 30-minute chart. You can always squint and make it look like it. You would say, well, it's a double head, and then there's your shoulder, and that could be another shoulder, and then the breakdown would be 158.
It'll be right now, basically.
Yeah, like basically right here at 158 does look like a potential breakdown on that look. The other way to frame it is, I always keep it pretty simple. Like, I don't care what the pattern is. It's like, what does a pattern mean? And for a head and shoulders or the double top, it just means stock ran into resistance. And if it's a head and shoulders, it's giving you an area that it could bounce off of the support and give you a lower high entry. So does it have that? Yes, at about 161. And is there like a flat bottom break associated with it? And that would be the 158. Like, that's the support level that's going. It's although it doesn't really matter what the pattern is. It's like what is happening in the stock. There's a flip side to this, though, that it gets a little bit more intriguing. If it does dip, now it's got the 200 period to bounce off of on Palantir, and that's at $150. I think that's where it gets spicy because this holds the 200 on the way back. There's a potential for a bigger move than even what it's already done, but let's be real, it's already been pretty good. The fact that it's not holding the $160 here after a huge jaunt kind of confirms this resistance is very much in place at 160 to 162. It kind of looked like it was going to go, but it's not over yet. You could easily consolidate right here. It's holding 58 now. A hold here for a couple of days, and then everyone forgets about Palantir because it's not moving 20%. And then it breaks out the top because it just consolidates. The other way to look at it is it's consolidating for 2 days. If it doesn't break 158, none of that matters. And it's a long consolidation. If it can hold this for the 3-day rule and then break out the top, that would be a great breakout trade. There's lots of ways you can look at it. I always preferred for it to not break down. Like, I'd rather it not break down, hold up here, and then you get a breakout trade above at 165 with lots of room to go. But ifs and buts are candy and nuts. Hopefully next week we're seeing a 65 break, so I think that looks good. Let's go to
Oh, okay. Here we go. Got another investment idea over here.
No, it's just to get another super chat in there. It's not to laugh, cheese in a chair. Appreciate you. It's just I know I'm already laughing when I see your name because I know it's gonna be a good one. SpaceX just paid for my new ostrich feather 3-piece suit and matching velvet pimp hat.
I mean, if you don't have the pimp hat.
If it hits 102 tomorrow, hey, I'm thinking about taking a limo to the basketball court to buy a baby. You know what though? If you're gonna get a limo, it's really important because not all limo drivers are built the same. Just make sure your limo driver's not hitting them corners too fast. Because if they hit it's a limo. You hit the corner too fast, it swings out the back, you spill the yak on your $300 suit. And that's a problem. And Picky doesn't want that. All right, so you make sure your driver is better than that because nobody wants to mess up the $300 suit. Shout out to Friday After Next Friday. One of them movies, man.
Is that what it is?
Oh, it was one of the ones with Mike
Yeah,
Epps.
there's a lot of Fridays.
Pinky was that character.
What are these, like Friday After Next? Like, we couldn't come up with something like, at that point, just call it Wednesday or like Tuesday or something. Like, call it a different, that's not.
Oh, because nothing happens on a Wednesday or Tuesday.
No, it's Friday.
Just dads like us going to baseball practice on Wednesdays and Tuesdays.
That is the highlight of Wednesday.
These guys aren't. Not a good one there, cheese in a chair. But I mean, it's good one. But yeah, we hope for the best on that. And I don't think you're unbelievable thinking SpaceX can get to $100 tomorrow. Honestly, I mean, its move here just in the last half of the day was almost $10. So if we close the day today at 110, which it's looking like we'll do something like that, then tomorrow's open could already be down here. 106, 107 in Park. And then we'll see what happens after that as that moves into $100 there. So you may, exactly, fulfill those dreams tomorrow if SpaceX does get to that 102. And I don't know what options are looking like for SpaceX, but tomorrow is going to be a spicy day when all of that.
The 100's got to be absurd. It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people psychologically write $100, but that's why I like the 102.
With the expiration,
you might not get to. Well, what is today? So tomorrow's Thursday. Obviously, we just talked about Wednesday. So yeah, weeklies.
Sorry, I meant the lockup. Yeah.
Oh, the lockup is tomorrow, right? Yeah, the 6th. But then Friday's probably a very popular options level there because everyone knew August 6th was coming. And then what is it, 90 days or something? Or is it 30 days? Every 30 days thereafter, a new tranche gets unleashed to be able to sell. And what we're talking about is the early sort of investors there. I don't know how the timeline works exactly, like who's able to at what points and this and that, but that's what's been happening. And that's what we're going to see tomorrow on SpaceX is that first little. And Sharif already had a note like 30 or 40% or something of the current retail float is short. And I don't know if that's changed or even where you got that from, but that's something that we will definitely check out there tomorrow. Like if I type in here into Benzinga and I type in Benzinga and I type in here SPCX and we go like that, the short float here only says 2%. But that's not going to be it.
The problem is
like what's it going to say with the market cap 1.65? So that's about right? Because it's coming in at 1.7 there, and you can see where it is now. Yeah, where's the float?
The problem is the public float. There's a small amount of shares
it says
available.
Float only 6 billion share float right now. But yeah, as we just mentioned there, it's what's available. So we'll see what's being unturned tomorrow, and then go from there. All right, there's Tron.
Ian Rispetto, maybe like Tron on the Chappelle Show, just plead the 5th.
Or like Fauci as well.
Yes. Sometimes, Tron, the thing about Tron, though, is like he go plead the 5th, and then he just gets a banana cognac, and he's good. Fauci doesn't seem like a banana cognac guy.
No.
Which is much to his chagrin. So someone just asked if YXT is dead. Very timely, because you put that in the chat, and it's about to halt down. It wasn't before. It was actually holding up decently well after the down halt. As in it didn't halt down right away. It was bouncing a little bit, but now it is halted to the downside, 25, 31. There's a decent chance this won't open till 4 o'clock. It could open in 5 minutes. If it opens in 5 minutes, great. If it doesn't, then it will not open. It's at 3:42. It will not open at 3:52. If it doesn't open in 5 minutes, it is opening at 4 o'clock. That's how the rules work on the exchange. It probably has something to do with the imbalances, is my guess. But I've never actually known why they do that rule, but that makes sense to me. So just be careful. It might die, but it plays both ways. Once there are no halt bans, the aftermarket is its own beast, and things can go absolutely insane in either direction. and you don't have the protection of looking at the whole band and saying, well, I'll give it to the whole band. You don't have that in the aftermarket. Thank you to AdCentric for the super chat here. Costco, long for investment entry ad price. Well, I never really looked at Costco. The last one, and the reason I'll bring it up is because the other day, to remind myself if I can now look at this chart.
Yeah.
Remember I couldn't call up Walmart for some reason?
Is it fixed?
Oh, it's fixed.
Yeah.
No, it was weird. I was trying to call up a
Sometimes
monthly
it's
chart.
random, man. I don't know what the situation is.
So like for Walmart, this has been, I'm gonna get to Costco in a second. For Walmart, look at the last two breakaways. Like this breakaway from 60, I'm going back to 2024, was almost a double up. Then the pullback, it happens, that's the 2025 pullback. But the secondary break goes 108 to the top. I had this marked off. Sometimes it is what it is. 108 to the top. It's now bouncing, but little bit, it's not far enough. It actually hasn't come all the way back to the prior high, but it's pretty close. So on a monthly chart, it's wicked the prior high, and this is the potential holding above 110. If it closes a month above 111, it looks like, then it kind of confirms the bottom wick. Problem is it's August 5th, so you really don't, like it's early in the month, it's meaningless now. Like that monthly chart, it's like what it could do if it holds 111 this month, I think is fantastic, because then you have like a bottoming tail wick for a buy zone on the stock. Costco is a bit different in that loaded up on a higher time frame. It's just a standard on the monthly. This is just a standard bull flag on the monthly. It's already shown you the bottom from the highs. It just wicked the top on the monthly, and then it's got 850. That's where it bounced before, same top. So it looks like it's just like a consolidated bull flag on the higher time frame to me. Either way, they've both been in hefty pullbacks. It's just a matter of like how long time frame are you looking at here? And that's what really matters to you. But it's a nice looking bull flag. On the monthly chart at least. The weekly probably looks different. Well, it usually does.
I feel like Costco, yeah, it's just like Walmart, right? We were talking about some of the levels there on Walmart. I think Walmart, I just saw monster size chasing down SpaceX.
Oh.
Let's see if this comes back. I don't know, it was maybe 1 million shares or something on the off. Look, it's done 170 million shares today. You know, I don't think it's going to have a problem. These algos are definitely hitting it, but that just had an aggressive move. I'm going to imagine that these imbalances, and someone just, shout out to whoever just asked for them from me there on the chat. There's nothing really going on with the imbalances right now. You know, the NASDAQ, which if you're looking for SpaceX, the NASDAQ imbalances come out at 350. So we got 4 more minutes until these bad boys start getting hit. Ooh, YXT actually opened up for a minute. So I'll show you this. I'll just keep it here and minimize it so then we can call it up easily. Actually stayed open for a minute there. To 330 and just halted now again. So, you know, finally it felt like it was finding a base there. And, you know, 25 bucks looks like it's where it's going to open up. Lucid closing. Not at the lows. Wow, that was 628. What a wipeout bottom right there. Look at that volume candle there. That's how you can kind of tell sometimes about said wipeout levels when you do get that capitulation volume spike. So, you know, huge move down. Somebody either sold it or dumped their position, nervous hands, whatever, got out and bought right back up. And that's sort of given itself some life there in that one. Yeah, well, that's what I was saying, Zion Lala. I mean, here, I'll see if I can put you up onto that. And I've sort of said already, yeah, that's the problem with that thing that Fabian created. Once you move off the page, it's gone. But I just wanted to show you here quickly, how do you catch those big buys and bids? How the hell did you know that, Andre? That's amazing. Okay. Thank you, Andre, for that one.
Done.
Yeah, it just comes.
Wow,
Andre's paying attention. Like, I'm not even paying attention. Thanks, Andre, for that. But yeah, no, it's just about just watching it, right? And it's having that experience of seeing this. And we're lucky enough to be here at Real Trading. So if I'm just staring at this, which I'm always doing, which sometimes why it's hard to focus sometimes on hosting the show. Like we were interviewing Kevin O'Leary while putting out trades. And I always say this, like if I'm going to be sitting at this desk, you know, first job is going to be hosting. And then, you know, second job is trading. You know, like I was given the hosting job because of the personality and everything like that. And, you know, we're hoping that we can, you know, continue. We've now have a plethora of hosts. So it's been absolutely fantastic.
Pinatas too.
But trading was always, you know, the first passion, of course. And so, and still is. So we, you know, I can't stop doing that. So no matter what I'm doing, I have to be here looking at something. But yeah, that's a good question, Zion. And it's just a matter of seeing it. And when you see it, I just kind of yell it out because I know there's a lot of traders out there like you and everybody else that's watching that, takes what we're saying there as information that they can trade off of. So I just want to say I did see that huge seller.
What you can do, I was going to say,
now it's gone.
You're probably not at Real Trading, Andre, but I'll mention it. If you're at Real Trading, you can actually set up on your quote board or even in your alerts, you can pick a stock, you can pick an alert, and if size over X amount hits the level 1, like the best bid or the best ask, you can get an audible alert, you can get a visual alert on your quote board. So I could have it on here. I'll show you what the quote board is. Just this, a bunch of stocks. But I could make a list of like 5 stocks, and then I could say if the level 2, because there's bid-ask size right here and all the stocks that are right there. So if you wanted to see 100,000 shares on the offer of SpaceX or bid, then you can set an alert for that, and then you'll get an audible, so you don't even have to see it. And I don't know. Like, I have absolutely no idea if other brokers have it. I have to imagine that's something that some other broker has to have that capability because why not?
Oh, sure, it's coming out now.
Yeah, if you're not staring at it, that's another way that you can do it. But remember, to take advantage of that, you kind of have to be on the stock anyways. Because you get the alert, you better at least have a level 2 open, although I could just click on it. Like I would just click on that, and then I'm looking at Google. Right? It's the same thing with SpaceX. But imbalances in like 30 seconds or so. Still just NU. GDX is a buy. Gold is having a good run today, up 4% today for gold. This is a gold miner ETF, 1.7 million to the buy side. General Motors early look sell of 1.5 million. That's about it. Doesn't look like it's anything too crazy. I'm going to have SpaceX and Tesla, I guess. I don't know, I can't think of anything else. And maybe this NU on a separate locator just to see what they come out as.
Okay, here we go. Just go ahead. Thanks for the nice talk there. Yeah, the whole team is stacked here at Trader TV Live. That's the whole point. Okay, there it is. Wow, it's a big buy right there. It's 3 million shares.
That's pretty big.
There goes SpaceX right there. Upside alert for SpaceX as it's trying to go through 110 right now on. I like big buys, and you cannot lie, especially if you are long right there for SpaceX. So other than that, man, GDX. Okay, there's Apple. I'm trying to find some names that you guys may be interested in. Apple upside there. Snapshot off of yesterday, back down to 433 is what that is right there. Amazon, bad day today, and darn it, we were short, but stopped out. And we always got to trade with some stops, so there's our stop there. All right, Amazon downside. Google. With a buy, we still have a share here in Google. Let's just dump out of that one right now on Google. 362 and change. We'll see if we can get out of Google right now. Other than that, man, it looks like it's SpaceX's world. But you would think the 3 million was nice, and it is nice. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, that 3 mil is
into 170.
That's the whole point. Is like in past days when, and I don't even know what SpaceX average volume is. I should probably look that up. But obviously on their earnings day, we just got out of Google. On their earnings day, there. 173. This might be the record despite their opening, I guess. Well, here, actually, what am I doing? We have SpaceX volume 2.
You can just look.
Yeah, so it's actually been pretty average.
It's blocked.
Oh, yeah, it's blocked right there. Let's get that off. If we can get that off, I'll show you guys what's going on right now.
Should be gone now.
There it goes. So yeah, there's the average volume. If I just move this up, I can show you in 1 second there. So SpaceX today, this was, I guess, yesterday. We don't have today's volume yet. 101 there yesterday and 130 the day before. So yeah, it is well outproduced. 70% more volume today at 175 million.
So much goes off at the close that, believe me, that spike, that'll break the prior day almost for sure because there's such liquidity at the
close. Well, yeah, here at the close, it'll be at least another 4 million.
Yeah, at a minimum, it might be bigger than that. And remember, the buy-in balance that has, you got to factor in, the lockup and everything. Yeah. So there could be, I'm sure there's people that are looking to offset that. That's the reason they publish imbalances, is because they want an orderly close. So people that want to sell will be like, hey, there's a big buy. Now I can dump 1 million shares. And it's really for the big boys, the institutions and that stuff. Easy peasy in the chat. SNDK with a question mark.
Okay.
The 2%er for SanDisk. That's probably the biggest earnings name out there. There's a couple. Look, the App Lovin's reporting tonight. Block is reporting tonight. There's a bunch of actual individual names that are interesting, but the SNDK probably means most of the market. Let's be real. This will affect how they do is going to affect the Nasdaq because memory's too big of a deal right now. But it is at the low of the day. Someone's already dumping it off. It does not mean it's going to go down. up or down, you got to keep in mind, it's going into this with a bounce of about 40% off the lows in a week. So that's where it's going into it, off that big of a bounce. So there could be some profit takers happening right here that want to lock in the profits before set earnings. Let's talk about crypto, I believe, at the desk with CM.
Just before this, I'm talking to Sean about certain investment strategies. Let's talk crypto now. I don't think I'm muted, am I? No? I'm good? Perfect. Let's take a look at crypto right now. So, excuse me for the mess up over there, but we are not muted. We're going to talk about crypto. Bitcoin right now up 1.2% on the day, trading around the 64,800 region. Ethereum also up 2.7% on the day, very nicely up. 2.4% is trading around the 1,000. Please bear with me, $900 region. And Solana finally also up close, very close to 1%, almost 1% on the day. That's around $74 region. One ticker that I do want to take a look at is Circle, that also reported. So Circle Internet Group currently trading flat. It has beat Wall Street estimates for second quarter profit as of today, driven by increased adoption of its USDC token, but a miss on revenue expectations that had dragged the shares down for the stock earlier in the day. However, they have seemed to recover a bit. They have seemed to recover today and is up very, very minutely. So that's why I said flat at the moment. Demand for their stable coins has increased and strengthened during the quarter after renewed Middle East tensions have increased market volatility, also prompting investors to shift some of their funds into riskier crypto assets into stable coins like the USDC. So Circle's USDC circulation has climbed 19% in the second quarter to $73.3 billion, and the stablecoins on-chain transaction volume has jumped 151% on a year-on-year basis. So with that, Circle up now 0.21% on the day.
All right, very nice, very nice. We did get some questions about, when do you take profit and whatnot. Like yesterday, again, live on the show, we dumped some Palantir right here at 158. It was 157.69 because we had that huge move higher in Palantir right into some levels. So, we dropped about 15% of our current position, and it just goes to show, like, you never know. It could have extended out. I thought Palantir was due for a multiple day move there, and it looks like it was only a 1 day. Well, I mean, we had that recovery day, but on earnings, only 1 day there as we bust upside there on Palantir. So, nice movement on the stock, but coming back in, maybe we've seen the top for Palantir. I don't know. We've talked about 160 as being that area, and I was really happy to get out when we did come into that area. So we'll see if it keeps on going. I think we did get easy peasy with a $2 super chat there. And again, thank you for continuously supporting. I just wanted to know about SanDisk, and I just
still going down.
Yeah, I think it's a buy. So this move down here on Aschenberger there, what was the hedge fund called again? Man, I forget. What you don't remember either, I guess.
Oh God.
Oh gosh, liquidation of situational awareness.
Yeah.
Right
it's
there.
It's our football pool. It's a line from our football pool.
Is it? Okay. I don't pay enough attention.
No, we mocked the guy for that line.
Okay. Yeah. So it's just. Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah. Pasha, right? Setting his lineup. Yeah. So just back into here, I was gonna say like that dump down I think was fake. I don't think like that was just hit because of leverage. So now we're all the way back and we're still not back. So this is why I really do think like, this does have a chance to get $1,700 right back up into here, sort of before that dump and back into like last week's levels. It's not that far, not that hard to, envision something like that actually going down, going up, but actually happening. So I think that move down was just a fugazi. You have that line there where you're watching Wolf of Wall Street. It's a fugazi, whatever. What's his name says there in that movie. But as you go back up, I think there's a way to go. And yeah, all we heard from AMD was demand is high. Like, so SanDisk should report a expectation of a number that we like. The only risk potentially, I would guess, in SanDisk is the fact that they don't have the capabilities of creating and meeting that demand. So if they come out and say, hey, look, we have a bunch of demand that goes out to 2030, but we don't have enough product to meet that demand, then I would see a downside and maybe they guide lower then, right? So that's all what it's about, is going to be about the guide, because as I heard Neil mention before earlier as well, that the numbers will be there. It's just a matter of what does the stock do. Like we had a good report from
Top and
AMD,
bottom don't matter. They're going to be big.
and it was down 7% at some point today. Oh, down right now. Oh, the devil's in this name. I just saw 666 there for Advanced Micro Devices.
I thought that rejected 500.
Today, I think it did. I think this is just a zoom.
Oh, that's not the
there.
full
Yeah,
day.
there's 500 right there. So at 950.
Yeah, because I would swear it
Yeah,
rejected
good
500.
take there. So yeah, I don't know. I just say may Godspeed with anybody that's taking a position.
It's got a fun, SanDisk has a fun level from 2 days ago, from Monday. Like look at the wipeout bottom down here at 1135. But the problem is, I think the expected move was 11. That's 15%. So it's like, yeah, how much do you like it if it's moving down more than the expected move? But that's from a technical standpoint, it's got a level here, 1120. So 1120, 11 quarter could be a fun one. These things are kind of cheap relative to the market. Like you're going to get them at forward PEs. Like if they meet expectations, they're cheaper than the S&P from a PE basis. Like that's the exciting thing about them. And when I say them, I mean like all of them. Like SK Hynix is even cheaper. Micron's actually even cheaper than that. Like, those are single digits.
Yeah.
SNDK is actually expensive relative to the others. Oh, shoot.
We're going to go out on SpaceX. Yeah, we could check out the inbounds. There's only
I was just going to tell everybody that there was like that what's it called? The YXT is gonna. It did do the things. It's gonna open up at 4 o'clock. It's tapping 23:33.
It's gonna be huge.
And then remember, there's no index, so there's no halt bands or anything like that after the market. But 23:33 is what it's indicating in 30 seconds. It will open at.
Yeah, no. What's up, Brad Griffith? I've never traded SNDK. I don't own that stock, so I don't know. It's for me, it's a little bit too much of a roller coaster. All right, SpaceX right here, 108 coming back in. It will close at the day's low, of 108. So there it is. I mean, if it breaks through 108, it breaks through 108. But there it is. We want to thank VinFast. We talked about them today. Sharif showed some cars there early on the midday show about VinFast. Go check them out. Ticker VFS. And yeah, there goes SpaceX, man. Right down there into the lows of the day. Big time movement down at the end there. It did try to break higher on that bid imbalance into 110. And you can see that wick high was right there. It's funny because that's like right where we stopped out, 110.25, but that's been the top. So once again, we picked the top. We could have had $2 more there, but down into 107, it looks like there it is. So there's the 107 break now. So just like someone asked about 102 by Friday, I guess. Yeah, I mean, or maybe it was tomorrow. Yeah, for sure. Like if this just keeps on bleeding here, we could be down to 107 and change. Like who's going to sit there and buy this right now in the after hours, right? That just before we let you guys go, that YXT, I think this is going to be a problem here. Like now it can't halt, in the after hours. So definitely a good opportunity to possibly get long off of $22, maybe, and we'll have to see what winds up happening there with XY or YXT. But I think it was a good day overall. I see a lot of people in the chat, not a great day to trade today.
Not moving.
Blah blah blah. We were
S&P just bounced $40, but I don't think the earnings are actually out. Someone might have fat fingered here. Earnings are not out here on SNDK, but there is a big volume spike, and it did just ramp up almost $40 from the lows. But it's a $1,300 stock, so keep that in mind. I think Expedia is reported, but we're not expecting these guys for another few minutes anyway, so someone might have just fat-fingered or gotten a little bit excited because it's right back to where it was.
Iran war back on? Yeah, no, I don't know what just happened there at the last couple seconds of the day, but the market did bleed down. I mean, we can wait 2 more minutes if we want to check out to see if SpaceX hits. Or not SpaceX, if SNDK hits. If it doesn't hit at 05, I know Neil's got to go anyways, but I don't know what tanked that market rate at the end of the day there. Does anybody have any ideas? Apple upside. Did Google finally give it up at the end? Not really. But yeah, as
Nvidia moved down 1%.
Yeah, that could have been it.
No, not even. Maybe like $1. Nah.
Yeah, SpaceX. Okay, Western Digital is now out. Okay, so we'll have a quick look at WDC now. So WDC is now out. So whether or not this is going to be something about SpaceX, SanDisk or not, yeah, we can go over to Adara. There it is, down to 480 right now. So a nice move lower on Western Digital. What do you have back there?
I'm going to keep this side screen up so we can see if SanDisk pops up on the radar, but you've got 44% year-over-year growth here for WDC, 3.75 billion, GAAP gross margin 54.1%, GAAP diluted EPS $8.21 per share. They're guiding Q1 2027 revenue between 42 and 49% year over year. So yeah, guys, in case you didn't know, SanDisk and WDC were formerly, connected and buddies, then they split off, which is why they're reporting the same fiscal quarter. They're both reporting Q4 and FY 2026 earnings. I also have Axon revenue beat up 35% year over year. Adjusted EPS down 14% year over year, but beating estimates. I don't know if anyone trades this intraday except for me sometimes, so I don't know really how much we care about this AXON. It's very spready and very low liquidity. They raised their revenue growth outlook. That's all I have in AXON. Still nothing on SanDisk.
Yeah.
So yeah, WDC, and if you're looking at the chart here for WDC, it's not like it's the end of the world here, but you are trying to take out those lows of 440. If that comes into play, as we had sort of ticked about, there was another chart. You're talking about TD before. That's right. That's not going to hit anything today. But if that 440 is a factor there, then yeah, it looks like then maybe that 1,000. I was just kind of just playing around when I was mentioning 1,000 there on SNDK. That's where your 200 period moving average is. And then somebody that's never been involved in this, that would be potentially a good buy spot if that does wind up coming in. But for right now, SanDisk is making lower moves because of Western Digital right now. So catching a little bit of shrapnel from Western Digi. Someone said
it is worth mentioning the data on the earnings that the last time when SanDisk had the bounce on earnings, I don't think Western Digital was as lucky that day. I feel like SanDisk bounced that day. I'd have to double check, but I seem to remember Western Digital doing poorly when it initially dipped relative to the dip on SanDisk. So we'll see. They don't report for another minute or so, so we'll see if it's going to catch a bit of it. There's already a recovery happening. Remember, this is all before earnings. Here. So you get that little sympathy push down, someone fat-fingered early. If they're on time at 405, then we'll get to have a look at them. I still think this is probably the better one for the dip buy between them and Western Digital.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much love for SanDisk all the time.
Yeah, it's got the
Okay, we are now 15 seconds away. Hopefully we get it for you. If not, we'll last a minute and we'll get out of here. SNDK right here. Looking for it to come out in approximately 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I know, very dramatic. 1. And here we go. It is out. 13, it's cranking lower right there. There goes SNDK, down 8%, a little bit of a low move, breaking through 1,200, 1,260, 1,250 coming in for SanDisk. It's not good, man. SanDisk lower, it's coming in 1,250, 1,251, 1,240, can we see 1,200? Can we see 1,100, 1,100, and 1,200 coming in for SNDK? Yell at me, Adara, when you have it. Okay, you have it?
Don't see it.
Waiting for it yet. Okay, 12, 15, 12, 1,200 flat. Can we see 1,100 right now on SanDisk? It is getting lower right now, SNDK.
I see it, 50. That
a quick
can't
check,
be right.
WDC also going downside right now. Both these names getting hit. We stayed late for you. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe if you like this kind of coverage. Adara, are we ready? Yeah. Okay, let's go back.
I have the revenue here, $8.97 billion. That's going to be up 51% quarter over quarter. GAAP net income, $6.9 billion. That's going to be $43.97 diluted EPS. That's definitely going to beat estimates. Fiscal 2026 revenue up 175% year over year to $20.25 billion. So yeah, guys, again, 51% quarter over quarter. Q4 revenue growth, you've got 175% year over year fiscal revenue growth. They're expecting Q1 2027 revenue between $10.3 billion and $10.8 billion. Non-GAAP diluted EPS, 44 cents to 46 cents per share. That non-diluted GAAP EPS, that's not a lot of growth, guys, sequentially. So that could be a little bit of an issue here for SNDK. I'm also seeing comments from Feds Cook coming in for whatever that's worth. But yeah, so just to recap here, revenue versus estimates for SanDisk for Q4, $8.97 billion versus $8.48 billion expected. Looks like we barely just eked out a revenue beat there.
So 372% year-over-year revenue growth, 51% quarter over quarter, and it pulls back. It didn't actually get to the 11 and a quarter. It looks like it's bouncing off the 1,200, but
yeah, who knows?
It's still early. It's only been a couple of minutes, of course. Remember, they got the call. The big event tomorrow is going to be a lot of extra earnings, but remember, it's the SpaceX lockup, I think, is probably the big thing. How is the market going to like this? They turned it red late in the day, and then now we get two memory names that are obviously getting bled a little bit here. They're down double digits. So it's hard to say it was a good day for the market. And with it, on top of that, AMD was also down. So you had AMD as well heading to the downside. We'll see how the rest of the reaction plays out the rest of the week, and more importantly, in the AM. Because the conference calls do matter. The initial moves aren't that big of a deal. It's what do they do after the call and overnight, and where are we gapping to at 8 a.m. where you guys are going to find us. Big shout out. I want to thank both Dara, Sia, the entire team, the Midday Boys as well, man, Sean.
Shout out to KO.
Andre. Well, I was gonna end with KO, the guest.
Okay,
I was gonna say
yeah,
thank you to
that's
Andre.
good,
We
that's
had some audio issues, everything, and he's been working through it a lot of time by himself. And shout out to Fabian and Ramin, Tiffy as well. But yeah, KO, fantastic guest. Always fun chatting with Kevin O'Leary. I want to thank him for stopping on through. SanDisk is almost back to where it was. It's back to $1,300. It just bounced $100 like nothing. Will it bounce another 100 and go green? We'll find out tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
All right.
See you in the AM, everybody.
Ciao.